Yo, this is Court Bauer from MLW. Shout out to Tru Heel Heat. Give them a listen.
All right.
Rob Van Dam, listen to Tru Heel Heat. Pow.
What's up, Tru Heel Heat? Tru Heel Heat. What's up? Tru Heel Heat. All hands is on me.
Welcome to Tru Heel Heat, the place where we use insider terms because we think we know what the fuck we're talking about, even though we don't. My name's Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you, and you know it.
Hello everyone, it's hardcore legend Mick Foley wishing a nice day to everyone there, right there at Tru Heel Heat. Yeah!
Yes, sir. It is Saturday morning. You know what time it is. It is time for some Tru Heel Heat. Tru Heel Heat 267. Without further ado, we got a lot to get into. AEW Revolution with Sting's retirement. Kazuchika Okada is now a part of All Elite Wrestling and heel, a part of the Elite. We got to discuss all of that. We got to discuss the WWE with Cody Rhodes slapping The Rock back and accepting the challenge for WrestleMania 40. Tru Heel Heat 267. Let's get to it. Hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. We are live on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for Tru Heel Heat 267. From stung to slapped, discussing the latest wrestling news, including the fallout from AEW Revolution and Sting's final match, including AEW making a lot of shakeups behind the scenes, suspending Sammy Guevara, Mike Santana leaving the company, Kevin Kelly leaving the company, re-signing of Jim Ross, possible re-signing for Matt Hardy coming up as well. Recap of this week in wrestling with AEW Dynamite with a whole new, brand new look. Kazuchika Okada's official debut as well, Rampage and Collision. You also had NJPW 52nd anniversary with Jack Perry joining the House of Torture. Oh, joy. We got to talk about it. WWE Smackdown with Cody Rhodes slapping The Rock back. Raw, NXT, TNA Sacrifice, and Impact, and our matches of the week. I am joined by my esteemed colleague. I was next to him in real time. I was able to do this, and he was right next to me last week, but now he is in his humble abode. He is the Tru Draw Josh.
How's it going? Look forward to going down what happened this past week. Good week for AEW, as it seems.
Not so much if you look at the ratings, but
I mean, besides that, I think people cling on to that too much, but overall,
I gotta say that for my esteemed colleague on Thursdays, who now has a Patreon account for WrestleNomics and sends me the quarter hours. See, I was right. They all left for Ospreay and Fletcher. They all left.
This guy. Nah,
that's what I have to.
No, do. As in, like, it seems like I haven't felt like this since 2021 with AEW, with all the signings and all the stuff that's coming around. Who knows? This could be a time to turn around again.
You never know with what goes on with this wrestling world. We've been covering it for now. This is going on 7 years during this podcast. But thank you, everyone, for joining us live here on the flagship podcast here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, the Tru Heel Heat flagship podcast. We're here every Saturday, 11:05-ish a.m. Eastern time to discuss the latest in wrestling news from WWE, from AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, across the independent scene, Ring of Honor. It doesn't matter if it's a big news in wrestling. We discuss it here every single Saturday. So we appreciate y'all if you're watching us live. Appreciate the thousands that sometimes join us on demand. So we appreciate y'all as well. Remember, both of y'all, to drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, sound off in the live chat. We are an interactive podcast here. We are an interactive YouTube channel. We love to interact with the live chat, so we'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here and make sure your comment is highlighted on screen, you can do that with a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to all the contributors that you see on screen with us here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel every single day, pretty much, that we have consistent content. All that little bit goes back. So we always appreciate the support. And we always like to give a little bit back with whatever you have to say in your super chat. We give you our say and what we think about it as well. So we got in the live chat already. We got Eric Isaacs, who says, "Hey fellas, another great week of wrestling." We also got Safet here in New York, in the Bronx, who says, "Sup everyone." We got Chuck Berries, who says, "Top of the morning to y'all guys." Thanks for joining us, Chuck Berry, one of our big supporters here. We got Safet, who says, "Revolution and Dynamite was great." I definitely agree. I just gotta, you know me. I am the voice of the devil's advocate here on the Tru Heel Heat flagship podcast. So I always got to say, it's not all good for AEW this week. That rating did not look good, and I was not pleased with that. And I have some criticisms on how we could have corrected that and not gotten that rating, but we'll get to that when we discuss Dynamite from this past week. We also got Chris in the chat who says Dakota Kai versus Bayley, very first time in WWE next Friday on SmackDown. That is very true. I thought that this was a step up this week as far as Bayley's storyline with Io Sky, which I think that WWE took their foot off the gas pedal the last couple of weeks. They feel like they put on a little bit of speed this week. as far as what went down, but we'll discuss that in a little bit. Josh, we got our Tru Heel roll call that we start off every single flagship podcast with, talking about our supporters across social media and here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel and our Patreon. Our top 3 conversation starters on the Tru Heels group page is once again for the 3rd straight week Dalton Charles, Jermaine Packman, and Luis Jaden. Our Patreon backers, Vala B, Alan Weinstein, Nick Jackson, Alex McCarthy, Professor Chris, Austin K, Robert, Steve, 5th Generation Carney, Ladarius, John, a.k.a. WrestleScopes, Dan, Dan Snide, Kobe, Dolores, John Martin, DJ Eric, Marcus Ryan, James, Alan Santo, Queen Monet, Christopher and Victoria Kidd, and Nick Tim. Thank you so much for supporting us over at patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content, and you always get the shout out on every single flagship podcast. But Josh, we got to get into what we saw live in Greensboro, North Carolina. What we missed is, of course, AEW Revolution from last Sunday. We were there in Greensboro, and we witnessed an all-time pay-per-view. AEW Revolution featured Sting and Darby Allin in Sting's final match, defending the AEW World Tag Team Championships against Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, the Young Bucks. This was a superb and insane tornado tag team matchup. Featured Sting's sons dressed up like Sting from the past, Sting from Great American Bash 1990, and Sting from the Wolfpack. For his two sons. You had Darby Allin with one of the most insane dives in wrestling history, with a dive off a 15-foot high ladder into glass, shattering his back, as you saw the before and after. I gave you the after and before, but that's before. And then after. And it led to Sting fighting on his own against Matthew and Nicholas, fighting from underneath, trying to get some help from his old friends like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Ric Flair, who took a double super kick. They both took double super kicks. But in the end, Darby returned, pushing Nicholas off a ladder, only for Sting to hit the Scorpion Death Drop, then apply the Scorpion Death Lock after Darby hit the Coffin Drop to retain the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Sting goes out on top in dramatic fashion. But not just that, you also had Samoa Joe beat Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland in an excellent 3-way matchup to retain the AEW World title. You also had Eddie Kingston retain his gold, the AEW Continental Crown Championship, against Bryan Danielson in a fantastic, hard-hitting, mat-based battle between these two men, where it was all about fighting spirit and respect, with Bryan Danielson shaking the hand of Eddie Kingston after the matchup. You also had Mariah May dressed up as timeless Toni Storm from the past. So she was timeless still before her AEW Women's World Championship matchup against Deonna Purrazzo, where timeless Toni Storm, with some help from Mariah May, picked up the victory here. You also had Roderick Strong became a new champion on this show as he beat Orange Cassidy, ending his second reign as international championship, bringing some gold to the Undisputed Kingdom. And then post-match, Kyle O'Reilly returned, but he hugged it out with Roddy, but did not join the Undisputed Kingdom. Speaking of returns, you had Pac had a video on the 0 Hour pre-show to hype his return to the company. Meanwhile, Christian Cage beat Daniel Garcia in a very good opener to retain the TNT Championship. You also had Wardlow getting some championship contention as he became the #1 contender for the AEW World title, hitting Dante Martin, beating Dante, Magnus, Hook, Brian Cage, Lance Archer, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Chris Jericho to win the All-Star 8-Man Scramble and become the #1 contender. And Will Ospreay defeated Konosuke Takeshita in what many people are calling the match of the year. It was rated 5 3/4 stars, nearly 6 stars from Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, as Ospreay defeated his fellow Don Callis family member, Konosuke Takeshita, in an absolutely sensational balls to the wall encounter. Post-match, Kyle Fletcher made his return to AEW to celebrate with Ospreay and tease a potential matchup that would happen later in the week. But we got to discuss AEW Revolution finally one last time. And to do that, we're joined by somebody that was here on the watch along here on the channel. She is the princess of all the Tru Heels, our third host here. Miss Krssi Luv is here.
Good
Here,
morning.
Krssi, you gotta pop yourself in because I don't know what's going on with my back end. But if you're not in, there you go.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go. There you
I'm about to say I see myself.
I know. I pressed it, but I didn't see it. But I was like, hey,
Okay.
Krissi's here. How
What's
are
going
you?
on, guys? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Hey, peeps. Sorry for my tardiness, but I'm here. What's going on? Appreciate you guys.
You are here. You had to be mom first, and now you're here to be the princess. So it's all
Yes.
good. It's all good. But yes, you got to see Revolution through the TV screen, so you had a different perspective than we saw it watching it live. What was your thoughts on AEW Revolution last night?
Solid show, very solid show. Yes, it was different because you guys were there. For on our end, it seemed like the crowd was like up and down. I'm not sure if that's what you was, but once my boo came out, it was over. It was ready. The balls was all on the floor. It was all out. He left everything there, plus the kitchen sink. But yeah, solid pay-per-view. I mean, I knew my boo wouldn't disappoint us. Like, I mean, I feel like he's outdoing himself every time he's in a match now.
He has to. He got to prove something. He signed the contract. He signed the dotted line. Some people are new. You might have to tell them Will Ospreay is your boo. You know, you just call him boo. You know, they might not know. You know.
For those who don't know, who new to this show,
and Alex Windsor might be watching and be upset. You know, or your husband.
Friend. Stop it. No, well, for those who don't know, that my boo is Will Ospreay, and he's here now, and he's giving us everything. I mean, that Takeshita match, I mean, wow. And then when I was like, I hope his back is okay, because he had that near fall and Takeshita like pulled him down and his whole back hit the turnpike. I was like, oh my, like you seen us on the watch along go like, oh my God, what happened? Like, what is going on? And I think mine was the one that was like delayed out of everyone. So I was like the last reaction out of the whole people that was watching the show. But yeah, then we had, did we talk about Sting or no?
We recapped the whole. I gave you the whole shebang about the whole show, but now I'll go to you first as far as what did you think about the show. So talk about Sting.
Okay, I think it was a great way to go out. Did we need his sons? Not really, but it was cool to see them dress up in the whole like Sting attire.
I think they earned it. It would have been corny if they just did it, but they earned it by the attack that they did.
Oh, right, because
that's why it made sense.
Right,
that's why it made sense for them to dress up and beat up the Young Bucks. If they just got involved, it's like, okay, a nice little moment for the family or whatever. But no, they were getting revenge for the Young Bucks attacking them, so they earned that.
Okay, that's fair. That is fair. I will say that. But overall, oh my God, Darby, like we knew okay. When we were on the watch along, like Romeo said, like, yo, this is his night. Like he said he will die for Sting. Like he's gonna put his body on the line. Like, and that's exactly what he did. Like, yo, he was like, he literally like
did exactly that. We didn't know. You
didn't know what was gonna happen until it happened. And then like mine was the last one, so I was delayed, and everyone was like, don't say nothing. And then they just saw my face as to what happened. And I was like, he's not going to do it. Oh my God, he's going to do it. He did it. I'm like, oh my God, what is like.
My reaction live was as soon as I saw the glass, I saw they were setting up the glass and I saw the chairs. And I first I saw them pull out the gas under the ring. Then I saw to the left. I was like right here. I was like center across. So then to the left, I see the chairs getting whirled up. I was like, oh no. Then I see the glass being set up. I was like, that's for Darby. But how is he going to take it? And then they put the ladder in the ring. And I was like, oh shit, no, he's not going to do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea, Darby. And
Don't do it. And he did it. He didn't like. God bless you, Darby Allin. Like, we love you because we love you, but I want you to live through to the next, like, I want you to get old with your wife and like do things.
The best tweets I saw were someone didn't tell that Darby that this is Sting's retirement.
Right. How about that? But I mean, he had to do most of the work for Sting too, though, because Sting, like.
But man, Sting went out, man. He went out 2-on-1. He gave us everything. He did no-sell to the table.
Right.
He no-sold the I'm sorry. Like, that's why I like to, when I watch matches live, I like to watch it back again, yes. Honestly, the Sting and Darby Young Bucks matchup is better when you watch it through the TV. Because I gave it one rating. I gave it 4.25 when I did the review because I had only watched it live when I did the review the next day. And then I rewatched it on TV and I did my star rating. I gave that shit 5 stars. That's like one of the best final matches I've ever seen. Like the little details that you watch through the TV, like the Young Bucks saying, we're not sorry.
Right.
We hate you.
It's little, and that's
part of the whole match.
That's the thing about going to live events, shows, is like you miss like the commentary from the wrestlers if you're not close enough. If you don't get the stuff from the commentators, like you miss all those little nuggets. And yes, I do agree. Like once you go to a show live, you have to go back and watch it if you can alone, so that you can see what it is, because it was just little things. I mean, I thought the match was great. It was a great way to send off Sting, and what I am mad about is that they didn't pay the extra goddamn money for us to hear what Sting was gonna say afterwards.
Well, I'm sorry about y'all, but we got to.
I know you did, but we didn't get that.
That's why we went to the bed. Josh,
you know what? Whatever.
Wow,
really? Next time, send me an invite, and I'll be like, okay, I'll come along too. It was just a boys' weekend.
No, it wasn't. It was Tru Heel Heat weekend. A bunch of stories that you could look at. Fightful Overbooked. Me and Jeremy Lambert talked about it earlier this week on FMC. But Josh, what did you think? Being there live, Sting's final match, Takeshita, Ospreay, the overall show, and where does it rank for you as far as live experiences?
Live experiences, it's really up there. I would say maybe second or first. Like it's really a tie between that and All In for me. Just because with All In, it was a different kind of animal. Just because of we were part of history of the biggest independent show in history. But then also like a lot of the matches there too were great. Like a lot of matches too. There were a lot of great matches. Mm-hmm. Revolution did too. Like on hindsight, Revolution did have a lot of great matches. But just to be there for Sting's final match, I think that puts it on another level as well. So I think that's why for me it's up there. But the overall experience, I mean, it was worth it. Like I was glad that I was able to make the trip out there. Ospreay and this. I mean, I already expected it, but I mean, it's like, man, every time he goes out there, it's like,
wow,
it's like really hard to like put together because it's like he always finds a way to just like he's not doing the same stuff, if you know what I mean. Like he's finding new ways to it's like to either overdo himself or whatever the case may be, but he's been finding a way to not only keep it to that level, but he's doing less, as in like a couple of years, like compared to like 3 or 4 years ago. Ospreay is a lot smarter now, and I think he's better for that now compared to than when he was. In regards to Sting's final match, I mean, that's the best way to go out. I thought the match was great for what it was. It was, it was a hardcore match. That's what it was.
It was.
And, the Darby spot does not bother me. I know it pissed off a lot of people. It doesn't bother me.
Why would they be pissed about? Because they feel like it took away from Sting?
Just because it's dangerous. It's just, because it's on a human level, as in, like, it being dangerous. Darby's doing too much. He shouldn't do, like, he doesn't need to do this. It's a useless spot, whatever the case may be. But then when it comes to that, I mean, it's just I don't know. It's like I think people putting too much stock to it, to be honest with you. I think
I've seen a lot of that on Twitter. I'm like, you guys really take this shit too seriously. I promise you. It's like, y'all not getting paid extra for this.
Yeah, and I mean, when it comes to that, it's just like I said before, am I condoning what Darby's doing? No, not exactly. But if he's doing it, you know, it's like at this point, Darby's gonna do whatever Darby wants to do, right? But then also there was protocols behind it. Like, you know, like when we saw it live, he lands, they were checking on him. They were checking on him a lot. And then once they kind of got away from that, like they were watching him, like they were like on standby, I knew he was fine. Like you could see he was just laying there killing time. So he was fine at the end of the day. But I mean, it was the best way to go out. I love the stuff with his sons. I didn't know I was gonna love it that much, to be honest with you. But then, like once you start thinking about it, like once you see like his son's, like his freaking son comes out of Surfer Sting, then Wolfpack Sting.
Yeah.
I love
the entrance. I thought it was just like for the entrance part. But
you know what's funny? A lot of people thought like when Surfer Sting came out, everyone thought I was like Sting.
Yeah,
everyone thought I was like him.
He looks just like him though.
Yeah. But then when Wolfpack Sting came out, we were like, oh shit, those are his sons. Like that's what they did. I thought it was perfect just because, again, we've never seen Sting in a capacity where his family is involved. And I think that because of what happened with the Bucks when his sons got involved, and then to have them here, I thought it was a perfect way to go out all around. Just because, again, it's something that we've never seen from Sting. We never hear about his family and stuff like that. So this was a great way to, like, for his final match. All right, let's use I want to use my boys for this. And I thought they did an incredible job as well. Like that's a lot of pressure to try to live up to your dad, and then that's a lot of pressure. And I thought they did.
Can you imagine, who's your dad? Like you go to their house, and you like, and they're wrestling. They're not really a wrestling fan, but they are a wrestling fan. And they were like, wait, your dad is who?
And the Wolfpack thing, his name is Stephen Borden, so he's like he's Stephen Borden Jr. Like he has his dad's name, so
that's even more pressure.
Yo, that dude was flying. He was flying on those stinger splashes.
But that's what's that when younger Sting was younger. That's what he used to do. So you have to like and do as best as you can.
He did his thing. They both did their thing. I was very happy with that. Like I said, I gave that match 5 stars on the second viewing. I was great. I thought the Ospreay and Takeshita, that was one of the greatest matches I ever seen live. Like right up there, like is instant when I watched that. I was like, that's up there. That's one of the best I've ever seen.
I agree. Great live show for you guys to see. I feel like
it
was better than the last one. This one top this would.
Oh yeah, that blue World's End was one of their worst. So
it really was. It's so sad that I was so mad that I was like, Dad, this is a pay-per-view to come to. I was like, this ain't it, friends. This ain't it. I'd rather go to Dynamite if that was the case. Like I could have stayed. Really being there, I was like, I wish I was home watching it live.
I was like, I'm happy I got sick. We got a
That's
super
so true, right? You had
and if I had taken my one get out of jail free card to go to an AEW event for that instead of this, I would have been very disappointed. Thank you so much to Will Chisholm, our good friend Will Chisholm, in the chat with a super chat donation. He says, I saw the AEW numbers and I said, oh no, Jimmy somewhere speaking in tongues.
Oh, from Wednesday's show, you mean?
Yeah. Wednesday show did not do well coming off of a pay-per-view and with all the things that they had on the show as well. No.
They didn't do well at all?
We'll get into it, but we got another super chat donation here from Big Hero Chris, who was live in Greensboro himself. Thank you, sir, for the super chat donation. We appreciate the love. He says, seeing Ospreay wrestle live in Greensboro made my credit score go up.
Wow.
Great.
It was that easy.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much. We got Power Driver Finisher is in the chat with us. Thanks for joining us. He says, I love the Sting final match. He said, bro, watching the Wolfpack Sting, I'm like, oh, okay. That's his sons. I loved it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would have thought they were professionals. They were moving. We also got Safet, who says, I'm glad that the Sting's last match is the main event.
Yes.
Yeah, literally, I was seeing all the stuff online after Renee said the AEW World Title match was going to be the main event. I saw Romeo in our group chat being like, oh, boo, Sting's not main eventing. And I came in, like I said, I got a ticket for somebody that works in AEW, and they immediately told me, it was like, no, Sting's main event.
So why was she? Why did she make that error though?
I didn't ask for clarity. As long as I knew Sting was main eventing, I was perfectly fine. As long as I knew that information, I was fine. I had clearance at mine. We got another super chat donation. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries. Chuck Berries with a super chat donation saying, "Great match for staying even. Staying even. I think he's saying for Sting." Even Michael Cole put Sting. Why you put Sting? Sting over on his match on WWE Raw this past Monday night. I like the WWE shout out. That was nice. That was nice.
I felt like they and as they should. He did wrestle with the company, so give him a little shout out, show him some love. I think that was really showing you put your be the better person and be a bigger you don't have to always be at war. We're two companies doing the same thing, right?
It's a different company. It's not the Vince McMahon company,
right? That's it. I think that's what it is, because they also said the stuff about Trinity, and they talk about Andrade, all these people that had went away and they came back. They give little things and homage to what they were doing before when they came back. So I like it. I like this whole new era of what the company is giving.
Yeah. So to finish off our talk about Revolution, and mostly we've been talking about Sting's final match. As far as Darby Allin, as far as what I think I said it to you guys in the chat. I'll say it here. As long as Darby's wrists, as long as his dangerous spots, 1, benefits the matchup.
Yeah.
2, doesn't take away from the matchup. 3, he's all right on the day of, and 4, it helps him in the long run. Then it's an A+ all across the board, and I feel this one spot did that for Darby Allin. This is Darby Allin's now kind of Mick Foley, getting thrown off Hell in a Cell.
Yes.
Willingly did this. He willingly jumped off the ladder because he said he was willing to risk his life to send Sting off on the right way. And the 3 guys that worked with Sting gained so much. AEW's only goal or only job really for a lot of fans was to give Sting a proper and great send-off, and they accomplished that. But at the same time, with the build to the matchup as well as the match itself, they enhanced the Young Bucks so much. The Young Bucks is totally different, and they have a character that now they can go on. The Young Bucks, what we realized in 2023, the Young Bucks as they were was stale. They were the same act that they were in Ring of Honor, that they were in PWG, that they were time and time again. This reinvention of the Young Bucks in this whole rivalry has really enhanced them so much. And then they got to give Sting one of his 3 best matches of his career, according to Sting, and a great main event to an all-time show for AEW, because that show right there is easily top 3, top 5 for AEW all time. And they got the main event it the first time the tag team titles main event the show. And then Darby Allin, he gets that great matchup. He gets the main event on all-time show. He gets to give Sting the proper send-off, and he has that spot that is going to be replayed for years to come.
Over and over.
And especially because we're going to talk about, Dynamite and the lead up to big business, especially on March 27th. Darby Allin plans to climb Mount Everest, and he talked about big business could be his final matchup. Then how iconic is that spot going to be?
Right.
I mean, either way, Darby Allin, that spot is going to be a part of his career for years and years to come. So I don't understand like a lot of the backlash and everything to it. Yes, it's dangerous. Yes, no one should repeat it. Yes, you shouldn't try this at home. But we know all of this with Darby Allin from day one. So I don't understand why we're acting like this is someone different.
Correct. I agree with you on all of those things. SP is like, we already knew who we are dealing with. He is like the junior Mick Foley of it all. Like, he is willing to go out there and perform because he loves what he do. And he has said that time and time again. Like, I put my life on the line because I love what I love. I love professional wrestling. So if it's okay for me to like do this, my boss says it's okay. No one has a problem. We've went through the practices, like we've gone through everything. If they're okay with it, then if it's not going to like do anything really bad to me, then we're all good with that.
Yeah, they went through the safety protocols. They said that in the report from Fightful Select afterwards. So I don't have an issue with it. But there is, of course, more to talk about with the Sting retirement and the news coming out of it. A new report had some of the backstage details in regards to Sting's retirement and the build to it that we saw on AEW television. The Icon, of course, retired following his win with Darby on last Sunday's pay-per-view, and Fightful Select reports that AEW and Tony Khan were adamant that Sting go out with a win and as champion as the booking for the match. Sources in the company said that the plan for the Bucks to lose was made official weeks ago, but that the Bucks are set to stay near the tag team title picture moving forward. Khan announced during the post-show media scrum that the titles will be vacated and a tournament will be held to crown new champions. The site reports that those within the company have long said that honoring Sting was important to management, and that Sting main eventing the show had been the plan basically since he announced he'd be retiring there. As has been reported, Sting had a major stay in picking the Young Bucks as his final opponent, and AEW also reportedly moved the event from the Midwest to Greensboro to better fit Sting's retirement. And that fans of the Midwest should get another pay-per-view soon. And as was announced at Revolution, they will in St. Louis with AEW Dynasty. Lex Luger, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Scotty Riggs, Ric Flair, and others were backstage at the event to support Sting, including DDP as well, and were not kept hidden before the show. Steamboat appeared during the matchup, of course, as the timekeeper and had an interaction with the Young Bucks. PW Insider had some additional backstage details coming out of Sting's last matchup. While former WCW colleagues Lex Luger and Diamond Dallas Page were both in attendance at the event, they did not appear during the televised pay-per-view broadcast. PW Insider also reports that Sting is currently not scheduled to appear for any upcoming episodes of AEW programming. And the reason why Lex Luger and DDP did not appear on the broadcast was due to their WWE contractual obligations, as both are signed to Legends contracts. In terms of Darby Allin, following his broken glass spot, PW Insider said that he only needed to get stitches after the bump, and Allin is still scheduled for big business next week against Jay White. PW Insider also notes that he was scheduled to climb Mount Everest on March 27th. Additionally, Sports Illustrated, Justin Barrasso had some additional details on the finish to Sting and Darby Allin beating the Young Bucks. According to the report, Sting was willing to not go over for the finish. However, everyone else involved, along with AEW CEO Tony Khan, were adamant that Sting win his final matchup. Sting wanted to give the win to the Young Bucks, who he said he holds in high regard. However, Khan and the Bucks themselves all firmly believe that Sting should end his career with a win. The SI report also notes that AEW had a Plan B finish ready to go forward after Darby Allin's glass spot. Doctors were said to be were said to be nearby, in anticipation of the spot and were on high alert. If Allen was unable to continue, the Bucks were ready to call an alternate finish to the matchup. Darby's spot was rehearsed earlier in the day than usual, and safety measures were applied once it was determined that Allen was capable of making the jump. A stunt coordinator reportedly instructed how to place items and reviewed the proper protocols. Ultimately, things went as planned, and Sting and Darby Allin beat the Young Bucks to retain the titles, and now the belts are now going to be vacant and are going to be contested in a tournament moving forward. Sting took to social media on Wednesday to comment on his retirement match at AEW Revolution and express gratitude to AEW and the fans. The icon posted to his Twitter account and commented on his retirement. He said, I had hoped hashtag AEW Revolution would be a memorable night for the fans, but it was a night that I personally will never forget. He says, thank you to all the wrestlers. Thank you to all the AEW staff. Thank you to Greensboro. And thank you to the fans, one and all. So where do you think Sting's run in AEW will rank as far as AEW history, Josh, moving forward? Now that we have a week after the retirement, where does Sting stand as far as the 5-year history of AEW?
Definitely up there. I would say at least top 3. I would say. But in even overall Legends runs, this might be the best Legends run anybody has ever had. To be honest with you,
yeah,
he went undefeated. Not only he went undefeated, he did spots that he's never done in his career. Like he did more jumping, he did more flying in this part of his career than he did probably in his entire career. So I mean, I really don't think there's something that tops that.
No.
But I think overall, I would say like it's definitely up there, just because they made him look good too. Like you talking about the spots where he, they did like the no self spots where it didn't make him look bad because those spots were necessary because it's Sting. He's a legend. You know what I mean? That's how you present a legend, in my opinion. And I thought it was done right. It was done perfectly. But then also, you could just see the selflessness he has, like, because he never had a singles match. And the reason why is because he knows he's not capable of that. And, so when it comes to that, I think that's why he's one of the best, because a lot of self-awareness, a lot of things that he did the last 3 years of his career that he's never done it in his entire career. And, he went undefeated. Those are 3 major factors, in my opinion, that puts it up there.
Yeah, I said it on the review. I think that it's the greatest legend run of all time. And I don't know if it's a recency bias, but I think that the one that I had at number 1 before this one was Ric Flair in WWE. But this
outshines it.
I feel like that one overstayed its welcome because it went too long. It went from 2001 to 2008. And a lot of it, you had times where he was feuding with the Spirit Squad and getting shitted on by Carlito and stuff, or shitting on Carlito and stuff. So, I didn't like some of that run, where Sting's run, even though there was points where he wasn't as important as he maybe should have been, or wasn't featured as much. I think that he was used just perfectly, honestly. I think that he was used in the right way, the right amount of times, in the right uses, in the right spots, and then they finished it off in the biggest way possible. That is how a Legends run should be. They restored his legacy that was hurt by the WWE run and by the latter half of his TNA run.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I agree with that. But then even the way he came in, remember the way he came in on Dynamite, when Winter is Coming, you saw how he was presented, that alone, I think outdid his WWE run.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now it's just him coming in, it was just the way he was presented. And then also he never took nobody's spot. He was always, again, he never took nobody's spot. A lot of times he wanted to lose, but they're like, no, you're winning. That's just, and I think for a long time, I think with Sting, I think what it is that I think a lot of like promoters, like Eric Bischoff, all these assholes that he worked with, I think they took advantage of his kindness. I think that's what really happened with his career. And I think the way that he went out, you know, I think it was something that needed to be done. Like Tony was, you know, very adamant about like, no, you're winning tonight. No, you're doing this. No, like it was just, it's one of those things where I think it was more to make up for a lot of things that happened with his career, because I think as great of a career that Sting has had, there's a lot of moments that you could say like, oh, maybe this should have been better. He should have been treated better, you know, in a lot of aspects. And I think that, like you said, AEW found a way to restore that, and you know, couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Yep.
It redeemed Starrcade 97. That's all I wanted. That's all I needed for Sting. To redeem Starrcade 97. He did it. He won in his final matchup. The Starrcade 97 redeemed. Couldn't have said it better than what Josh just said. But other news.
I wanted to add with Annika. She asked a question earlier about like how come I wasn't under review. I wasn't on the review because I was still on the plane. I was heading back home. That's the only reason why I wasn't on the review.
It was an all-timer. Check it out with Jimmy Macaram and Nate Milton. It was a very fun time. Very fun. We also got Annika, who says Sting deserved to go out on top. Definitely agree with you. Definitely agree with you. We got also some news from Revolution from the AEW World Championship matchup. Hangman Adam Page will reportedly be away for a time after the pay-per-view. Fightful Select reports that Page, who submitted to Samoa Joe in the world title matchup, is believed to be taking some time off from AEW. Page attacked referees during Sunday's matchup, which was set up to write him off of the from the company. And Page's status for the show had reportedly been uncertain due to a family matter. And the report notes that there's no word on when his time off will start specifically, but that if it does happen, it could be a matter of a few months, though. So that is a very interesting note. Hangman Adam Page taking some time off. Krssi Luv, what did you think about the matchup? And then what did you think about the write-off for Hangman Adam Page on Dynamite with the Elite suspending him without pay?
I thought the match was great. Good. We knew Swerve wasn't going to win. And I like how they did the ending of the submission of like doing it on purpose so that Swerve couldn't win. So it's like, but now you write him off. So now it's like, how will Swerve get his revenge against him? I guess, but he has to just feud with the actual champion by himself without anyone interfering. But you have all these other guys that are now coming in. Is like, what's gonna happen? Is he gonna get sidelined? Like, what's going on?
I think he's going to get his shot at Dynasty. Don't worry. Just have to wait a few more weeks.
Okay.
A few more weeks.
Okay.
Josh, what do you think Page's character will be when he does return, seeing that, you know, the Young Bucks suspend him? He's been this unhinged character in the lead up to Revolution and in the matchup. His storytelling, I rewatched that matchup as well, was fantastic. I thought that matchup was excellent, and it was thanks to Page's character.
I think when he comes back, I think they should keep him the same character, because I really did enjoy a lot of stuff he was doing, and it was just something different that we haven't seen in a while from Page. Because remember, ever since he's joined AEW, he's only been face. So, and he's much better. And he's been a heel before, you know, like when he was with the Ring of Honor, he was a heel. But during that time he was a heel, he was still like, he still wasn't up there. Like he was, a lot of people saw as a serious superstar or anybody that could be a top guy. Now he's in a position where he is a top guy. He's been a former world champion. So I think when he comes back, done right, I think he should stay the same character, because I think if you bring him back as a baby face again, it's like, what was the point of him turning heel? You know what I mean? What was the point of all of that? So I think they should keep him the same way when he comes back.
I agree, and he should be obsessed with Swerve because
Yep.
Swerve will be champ by the time he comes back. Three more notes before we get into Dynamite and bring in our special guest here. We got Kyle O'Reilly made his return at AEW Revolution, and a new report had some details on his plans for him moving forward. Fightful Select reports that O'Reilly was optimistic of a return since fall of 2023. O'Reilly was sporting a new look, and the report notes that there will be other elements that will be different for him as well. O'Reilly turned down an offer to join the Undisputed Kingdom on the show, and the report notes that a different direction for him has been in the works for a matter of months, while the rest of Undisputed Era are in AEW. The site notes that AEW has no recent talks with Bobby Fish about a potential return. Unfortunately, our boy Bobby Fish. We root for you, Bobby. We hope you come back. Well, impressed a lot of people at AEW Revolution, and for good reason, with his match of the year candidate against Konosuke Takeshita, but apparently he impressed wrestling legends as well. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, both Ric Flair and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat spoke highly of Ospreay's matchup with Takeshita. It was said to be the first time either of them had seen an Ospreay match. According to a top AEW star, it's Wrestling Observer newsletter. According to Chris Jericho, Flair and Steamboat had heard of
I know you fucking lying. I know you fucking lying. Don't even do it.
He was praised by a lot of people, but hadn't seen him wrestle until Revolution. They were reportedly blown away, quote unquote, by how good he was and how good the match was. Flair in particular said Ospreay
I'm not doing this with you.
Quote unquote unbelievable. What'd I say?
Foolishness. That's what you said.
I mean, when it says top AEW star in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, I am letting our viewers know that means that is code for Chris Jericho. I'm just letting people know. Wrestling Observer newsletter had one more report, and it was about the success of AEW Revolution, and it could end up one of the largest number of pay-per-view buys in company history. The pay-per-view numbers were up 26.2% from World's End, while streaming numbers were up 25% overseas. Triller numbers were said to be closer to World's End, although international revenue may be up as prices were raised. The early estimate is that the show had around 171 to 175,000 pay-per-view buys worldwide, and that number could increase with late buys, as AEW typically does get a number of late buys after an event. This year's Revolution is fighting with the 2022 edition for third place in pay-per-view buys in company history, as that show in 2022 had 175,000 buys, and AEW's top two pay-per-views in terms of buys are All Out 2021 and All In 2023. Sunday's AEW Revolution drew a $1 million gross from the tickets sold at the venue. 16,118 fans were at the Greensboro Coliseum and generated a gate of over $1 million in gross ticket sales. The average ticket price for the event was $55, and the report also notes that the OVG Hospitality's food and drink per cap was $19, not including suites, for concession receipts totaling $300,000, over $300,000, and merchandise revenue was over $349,000. The report notes that the Greensboro Coliseum, the numbers are in line with a concert or on the high end for a family show, and the Coliseum's deputy director, Scott Jones, provided the numbers. So all in all, a big success for Revolution. Big success for Will Ospreay. So that means that we got to bring in our special guest, because we're talking about Will Ospreay. I think I have an expert that we know on Will Ospreay. He is the man that you just saw probably right before you turned on our podcast over on the WrestleTalk podcast YouTube channel. He does the news. He's done the news over there. He's doing the reviews for SmackDown once again. So you gotta show him support before you come here for the flagship. He is our boy, Seth E. Niangi.
Hey, bruv. What's going on, friend?
What's up, love? Josh, Sid, there is this button on StreamYard. It says touch up my appearance. So if I'm looking extra smooth and silky, it's because I touched up my appearance using this thing. I dial it up to the top. To the top. I don't know what it's doing. It make it.
Where is that at? I don't need. I gotta find that.
It's on settings. Go on settings, right?
Okay.
And on camera at the bottom it says touch up my appearance.
Okay.
It's at the bottom. It says new. It's like highlighting. StreamYard, you owe me money. I'm like
sounds like an
up.
ad. He sounds like a British version of Katie from StreamYard.
Yes, but I'm putting it down because I don't need it. I don't need this crap. I don't need this crap. All of a sudden, you see my veins. Now you can see the veins again on my forehead. Oh, okay, maybe I do need it. Touch me up a bit. I just turned 34 last month. Let's do this again.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
You don't look a day over 24, sir.
It's
mocha chocolate skin.
Thank you. It looks like a snake went into my forehead. That's what it does. It doesn't show any definition.
This is cute. Okay.
I said you try it.
All right.
Exactly. We're pretty deadly. Yes, boy.
Yes, boys. Okay.
Yeah.
Filter.
Let's all do it, Phil. Come on, Josh, join in. You look like you want to do the filter. I can see in your eyes. He looks excited. He's excited. Yes.
Let me try it.
Let's try it. Sid, you too. Let's all do it. Let's all do it.
I'm totally good. Annika's so excited to see Seth, E, Niangi. We also got Big Hero Chris. Happy to see you showing some love in the chat. Mocha Saturdays are here. It's back. Some brown sugar from Dolce de Leche.
Oh yeah, le chocolat. There's some hazelnut. This is some Nutella, Niangi in the building. Give me that. I haven't worked out in a while, but it's kind of still there. Yes, give me some Cadbury's. I don't think you guys have Cadbury's in America, but give me some Cadbury's all from London. Hi guys, we're talking about Will? What are we talking about? A 5-star match again?
Yes, 5.75 against Kanote Takeshita at AEW Revolution. I said it was one of the best matches I ever seen live. An amazing performance. What did your thoughts? I know you had a tweet where you called him the greatest wrestler of the 21st century, and it's not a lie. It's not BS. It's not fluff. This man is that.
When I said that, I was like, all right then. Come on, guys. I'm ready. Argue against my case. So the thing is, because of the level he's at, he has to learn to be mediocre for TV wrestling. That's the only thing he has to do. Because he's turned up here to an 11. You got a dial button. He's 100%. So he has to learn to actually save most of his moveset because he's only 30 years old, guys.
He was doing freaking coast to coast during the commercial break on we're about to talk about Dynamite. So
Triller, fight. People that use it. I don't. But yeah, for the people that use it in the UK, it's for them. He did it for them.
You figure out the UK guys.
Yeah, that's what it was in his mind. I'm happy for him because like you guys said, he's my friend. I know him in real life. He's my friend. I've known him since he was. He is. You know what? Yeah, I already said the story. His ex-girlfriend is one of his best friends. She was my classmate. The backstory is me and my friend talk about wrestling, and she's like, oh, "You talking about wrestling? My boyfriend's a wrestler." I was like, "Yeah, sure. Show me stuff." This backyard stuff blew me away, and I was like, "Oh snap!" And I've known him since he was 17 years old. And for me back then, I thought he was the best wrestler. But the way he wrestles now, is less Rey Mysterio, less Rob Van Dam, and more guy that's more of a hybrid. He's a hybrid athlete. And he's big as well now. 240 pounds, man. I'm always been bigger than him. Now he seems to be bigger than me now. But yeah, the only thing I'm saying is he has to, I guess, adapt to being a TV wrestler because the standard that he's working at, when he's in his 40s or 50s, he may pay for it. Because he looks at Misawa as a cautionary tale. Because we talked about Misawa before, where the way he died, his situation. That's because Misawa went hard for the longest time. So when he's out of the ring, clarity is there when I speak to him, but it's different. I think when you come through the curtain, you can't help yourself. You have to entertain the masses, and he has to show the world what he's made of. But I think in AEW, he'll probably learn. I'm hoping. I don't know if there's a wrestler or someone who will listen to. Maybe Steamboat's telling him, maybe the pacing and stuff like that, because he gives 100% all the time. It'll come to a point he might have 5-star matches every week, possibly. But yeah, I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. He's wealthy. Dude is wealthy. He told me how much he made, and I'll never tell anyone because I'm not an insider, you pricks. But he's wealthy though. He is. No, listen, the money he's making, WWE was not in contingency for it. He is wealthy.
And we're gonna talk about the money that Okada's making. So,
on the screen, friend. There you go, right there. Do that. Thank you, Anna.
Did you see the joy in Krssi Luv's face when she found out that Sat was friends with Will Ospreay? Because literally, Sat, you missed it when we were talking about the match originally. When we asked Krssi Luv about the match first, she was literally just calling him Boo. She didn't even call him by name. I was like,
he's got a big penis.
There's actually
he's got a big penis. He likes to show his cock a lot. He does an aeroplane spin. Yeah, we call him Big Willie for a reason. He loves doing the airplane spin a lot. I'm sorry, I don't know if you know this, but he actually has a big penis for a white guy. Like, I was blown away. Like, it dangles, and he
yes,
does. Yeah, yes. Sid, you don't know this. He was when we were back here wrestling. Yeah, that was the thing because everyone changed in front of each other, but he used to just like shake his flaccid penis around, do a helicopter ride. This is not even stiff. This is fully, yeah, exactly. His flaccid penis it dangles, bro.
I gotta go, Sid. I gotta check out. It's time to go. I can't right now. Oh my god! Oh.
Guys, now you know. So it's not how big Batista is; it's how big is Will Ospreay. Ask everyone. I'm not even lying. Ask him. Ask all the wrestlers.
Seth said, "No, I will not say what he's making from AEW, but I will say he has a big penis."
I need to be like this with him right now, please.
No, I'm not even lying. Listen, if he had a tiny one, I would not even brag about it. He does actually. That's you know when they say what's one thing that people don't know about him that people should know about him. He's got a big penis. Wow. And he's proud of it. He's proud of it. Go out for a drink with him and ask him to show it to you. He'll flop it.
And why didn't you warn him about the inflation that the U.S. has? He was so pissed that he had to pay $8 for that bullshit bottle of water. I was like, boo, you got to buy it from Costco and just get the case and carry it in the carry-on, friend.
I don't know. You guys need to tell me. I'm not adverse on international travel like he is. As if I can tell him. If you've seen his passport, all the stamps that he has on his passport, listen, I'm not on that level. But yeah,
I don't know how I follow that. But AEW Dynamite this week. The ratings were down. Unfortunately, it did 779,000 viewers. The show featured a new graphics, new look, new set, new cock ring entrance tunnels. The show featured. I shouldn't be talking about cock after
what
that.
The fuck?
The show featured Ospreay.
Listen, we have a cock. 3 of the 4. 3 of the 4 has cocks.
Like y'all say it all. Any other? Let's.
Will Ospreay defeated Kyle Fletcher in yet another phenomenal matchup from Ospreay this week. That was also rated this time 5 stars by Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. But post-match, it got even better as another person obsessed with penises, Bryan Danielson, came out to confront Ospreay and tase a dream match at AEW's next pay-per-view, Dynasty, on April 21st in St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh my God, he didn't even break a sweat with that match. Look, I mean, just
Swerve Strickland and Samoa Joe kicked off the show with an in-ring promo, a back and forth between the two men coming off of Revolution. That was interrupted by Adam Cole and the Undisputed Kingdom, leading to a tag team opener made by Tony Khan via Tony Schiavone, where Swerve and Samoa Joe defeated Taven and Bennett. However, Joe then choked out Swerve to send a message to Wardlow, who he will defend the AEW World Title against at AEW Big Business next Wednesday in the post-match. We also had a really damn good matchup between Chris Statlander and Riho, with Riho picking up the win after Stat refused to accept Stokely's help. But Willow Nightingale will get a chance to get some revenge for Statlander as she will face Riho at AEW Big Business. Darby Allin got emotional in his in-ring promo following Revolution. That was interrupted by that was interrupted by Jay White. The two men had a compelling segment with Darby saying next week's Big Business match may be his last matchup due to him climbing Mount Everest on the 27th. Killswitch beat Matt Menard, Daddy Magic, Matt Menard, in a one-on-one matchup in a squash. Post-match, Adam Copeland returned to attack the patriarchy and chase after Christian Cage. Copeland then challenged Christian
Uh-oh.
To March 20th at AEW Dynamite at AEW Dynamite in Toronto. And you also had the Young Bucks who announced their announcement.
Uh-oh, did it again.
You went through a tunnel again.
Is it me? Is it
Adam
okay?
Page? They were attacking. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Cool. Hangman Adam Page attacking the referees at Revolution. That caused him to be suspended by the Young Bucks, as well as Kenny Omega was fired due to missing recent events, even though he's fighting an illness. This led to Eddie Kingston interrupting them, which also led to Eddie fighting with Matthew and Nicholas until Kazuchika Okada made his official AEW debut, turning heel by attacking Kingston and joining the Young Bucks in the Elite. And that's how the AEW Dynamite was this week. I am sorry, but I know I'm getting breaking up because my internet is just wilding for respect right now.
We're sorry, friend.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know because I'm frozen right now. You guys can talk about Dynamite. What did you guys think about Dynamite this week as I try to fix my issues?
The numbers was down, but the show was pure hot on fire because that was a great fucking show. If you missed it, shame on you, dumbasses. Shame. Dummies.
I like the new set, by the way. The new set.
The new set is
new music.
It gives a new look. It feels refreshed. It feels like something new and hot, and it's because they got all this money coming in, and it's great. And I like it a lot.
Fire some NFL players so you can get a bigger budget to hire more wrestlers, fix your set, get Mercedes Mone to come over next week, get Kazuchika Okada to debut for re-debut or officially debut as an AEW wrestler. Officially. Yeah, for the Reddit users that are very pedantic, officially. He debuted with the Bucks in a ring, and it was great because we got the Okada that we all love. See, when you love someone, you're like, the reason I love this person is not because this lovey-dovey respect crap that he's doing, or he's the ace. Being the ace made him into a cuddly teddy bear. Nah, F them kids. That's the Okada we like. The Okada that's cocky, the Okada that's arrogant, the Okada that's flaunting his wealth in your face, and that's what we have back. It was lovely, man. It was great. The show was fantastic. F them viewers. They're missing out on a lot. Who cares? Why are people so talk about viewers? Who gives a crap? As long as we're getting great wrestling and they start.
I will say, if you are gonna debut Okada, there should have been some hint. There should have been some type of promotion toward it's not really like the big surprise. The big surprise is he's turning heel. You can still say that Okada's debuting. You can still say, we all knew. Well, a lot of the insider fans, the hardcore fans, knew Okada was debuting, but maybe the extra 30,000 that didn't view this week in comparison to last week, they would have viewed this week if they knew Okada was debuting.
Okay, I got something to say. Tag me in. All right, I'm in. They hyped up. It was a season show. The new season, new premiere. They hinted. I'm sorry. Okay, for people not on social media, tell a friend, phone a friend. I don't know how people do it. If you follow wrestling, there's a way that you can find out. If you really wanted to know, you'd have known. All these O'Shea Jackson Juniors.
This goes to a wider problem with AEW. They are not really good at advertising and promoting. Like, they don't promote who's going to be on these shows. Therefore, they did the show in Atlanta. Atlanta is one of their hot bases. The first ever Dynamite in Atlanta was the Cody Rhodes versus Wardlow first ever steel cage matchup. That also had Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page defending against the Lucha Bros for the tag team titles. That show did like 7,000 people. Their last show in Atlanta did 5,000 people. Why is a show that has all your stars, Swerve Strickland kicking off the show, Will Ospreay's first official match on Dynamite, Kazuchika Okada's debut in the company, why does that only have 3,000 people? How did you lose 2,000 people from the last time you went? And it comes down to their advertising and promotion. I understand the view of, fuck them kids. It was still a great show. Yes, it was a great show. I would have liked for people to watch the great show and to advertise and promote properly.
You should have said, "Hey, this is going to be Ospreay's first televised match on Dynamite. That could have been one thing. That's another one nugget. We have this huge announcement. Please come and watch so you can see what's going to happen. Then it could have been one more thing that you like a teaser. You didn't even have to say Okada's name. You just could have just like gave a little like
major debut.
Right.
Major debut.
Yes. So
they only advertised the Young Bucks
drop the ball on that part.
They announced the Young Bucks announcement on social media the day before. That's not how you advertise that.
Yeah, you should have did it right on Sunday.
Immediately on the post-show's media scrum. We should have. Oh, I just got a note from the AEW EVPs. Apparently, they have an announcement on Dynamite on Wednesday. Would it took 5 seconds? That took 5 seconds for me to add to the fucking 2-hour post-media scrum.
In their defense, they set up Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher after his match. So them broke bitches that didn't watch the pay-per-view, that's on them. Okay.
Oh yeah, he right on that one though. You right.
That's fair.
Right. That's the only one I can run on. Everything else, you're right. The thing is, I'm not even arguing. They
too busy promoting big business because homegirl coming on Wednesday. That's what they keep promoting.
Yo, so listen. Okay, so that is the biggest litmus test, right? Because we are at the moment saying they haven't done enough to promote. After this show, if this doesn't get a million view, we need to huddle up together again, guys.
Yeah,
I think you're shooting too high. Shooting too high. We gotta go to the next high. We gotta go to the last high they had was the February 7th show that was promoted properly for weeks with the Sting and Darby versus Ricky Starks and Big Bill and a couple of other big matches on that show. That was and it had Swerve and Hangman. Excuse me, Swerve and Hangman was on that show. That did 900,000. 900,000 is probably like should be the goal. That should be the goal. They can settle for 800
million. Go for $1 million. Money.
So maybe this works out in the long run for them.
Money. No, I'm shooting for $1 million, man. Listen, you know what? Yeah,
can't get them.
The thing is, I'm with you, but you know them ones. Just be deluded enough, man, and hope enough. Push yourself. Visualize 1 million, and you get 1 million. If you visualize 800, 800,000, you're gonna get 800,000. Yes, the usual. But the reason why I say Mercedes could potentially get 1 million is because so far in her run away from AEW, she's exceeded expectations. She's done well in terms of bringing business in. I'm hoping that translates. That's the only thing I'm saying, because a lot of people be curious. They'll be like, I need to see this debut. What wig is she wearing now? What song does she still have? Okay. Who's she feuding with? All right. All right, cool. Serena Deeb, you're mostly on Collision. What are you doing here on Dynamite? That's a surprise right there. Maybe Mercedes debut, that would be the surprise. Serena Deeb, because most people that watch Dynamite probably don't watch Collision. They're like, Serena Deeb's back. So there you go. That's 2 returns on one show. But yeah, we're gonna find out and see if all these weeks of promoting actually leads to something. But there's a disconnect. AEW has got great wrestlers. They've got a dream roster. This is a wrestling fan's wet dream, to a point where Forbidden Door, just kill it now. We've taken the best wrestlers. The president, he's over the hill now. So let's just end this arrangement. We've got all the wrestlers we need. Fuck them people. Your yen is crap. Forget those people. Let's focus on us. I think they're in the rebuilding phase. Last year, winter time, there was a lot of bad will. They tried the whole the criticism, let's do what we want to do. It didn't really work out for them. They're back to catering to the fans again. So they're now in a rebuilding phase. Mercedes, Will Ospreay, Kazuchika Okada, they're meant to lead the way for the next phase of AEW, which I'm excited about, but it's going to be a slow burn. It's not going to happen overnight. Even when WCW got Hulk Hogan, he spiked things up a bit, but he was considered a bust for them until NWO turned things around. So I do think they're figuring themselves out. They're going to accidentally stumble onto something incredible, and then they're going to ride that wave. Until then, we're still going to be in the rebuilding phase. They need smaller arenas. I feel like they've maxed out big arenas. They're not interested in the moment. It's not a defeat to go smaller. Smaller makes it look bigger, bigger acoustics.
And then they could do the bigger arenas for pay-per-views. They do well. They do well selling tickets for pay-per-views. It's just Dynamite, Collision.
It doesn't do it.
Yeah. WCW 98, you ain't, guys. All right. So just be humble. Humble yourself. To the point, they're gonna darken the ring. Because come on, he's talking everything.
Josh, what did you think about Dynamite this week, and especially the Okada turning heel and joining up with the Young Bucks against Eddie Kingston and replacing his greatest rival, Kenny Omega?
It was great. I like the fact that they're bringing him as a heel, just because it's something different. When I was talking about it, you already have Will basically the face. So if you was to bring both of them in as faces, I don't think there's no balance to that. So now there's a balance, even though Will has always been the heel, like most like the dominant heel. So this is a reverse that they did. So I like it. I like the fact that he's with the Elite, and it tells another story right there. He's the one replacing Omega, which is Omega's biggest probably rivalry entering from New Japan. This sets up Omega versus Okada 5. There's your story. So all the people that complained about there's no stories, there's your story right there.
There's so many stories. They just don't want to understand and pay attention to. They want things to be done in other ways that it doesn't work at this company. That's just what it is.
No, well, it's not only that, but you know what it is with AEW. They build up stories, but then the problem is that the follow-ups. That's been the problem.
Okay.
Or sometimes it feels like they abandon it too. That's also been the problem too. Like they start off something and then all of a sudden like they kind of just abandon ship. There's a lot of times where that happens. So it's not so much like, oh, they don't do stories. It's just they need to do something that's consistent, something that's balanced well. This is something that it could balance well because we don't know when Omega's coming back. So you could prolong this as long as you can, and this is a great way to do it. You have Okada as an Elite member. When he came, I didn't know that was going to be like the thing, but now when you think about it, it's like, holy shit, like this is perfect. I loved it. I love everything about it.
I was up here saying they should book him as the final boss, but this is better. The corporate Okada, oh my God, the shit eating grin. He's like, it was basically like AEW's version of Survivor Series 1998. They gave him the big pop, the big debut. It was like Rock was the new fresh babyface, and then turns around, he joins Vince McMahon in the corporation. Okada turns around and joins the Young Bucks in the Elite. That was great stuff. And he's going against Eddie Kingston, where you know that him having the Continental Crown, if he's the one that beats Eddie, that's going to elevate that title. So in like a matter of minutes, he became the top heel in the company. He made the Elite the top heel group in the company. He set up a matchup with Eddie Kingston for the Continental Crown, potentially elevating the Continental Crown, and set up a potential fifth matchup with Kenny Omega. And please, dear God, wrestling gods, let Kenny Omega be healthy for Wembley Stadium, because Okada Omega 5 is how you get 80,000 seats sold again for Wembley.
Facts.
Oh, while we're talking about Rock 98 heel turn, I wish the same for Swerve Strickland. I don't want him as a babyface. I enjoy him as a heel.
No, I can't. I am gonna say I strongly disagree with that after that promo on Dynamite. That promo was that's Austin after WrestleMania 13. That's Austin after WrestleMania 13, realizing that the fans are now behind him. That he had his coming to Jesus promo where he was like, they felt for the first time, y'all actually behind me. But he's still the same Swerve Strickland. He's still the guy who's gonna brag about he broke into a house and freaking threatened an infant. He's still the guy who's gonna brag about
threatening kids.
No, man, the fans love it. Apparently, man, it's justified. This is Brett and Austin for AEW fans.
But then again, the black community were like, wait, he shouted at a white kid. Hero, yeah.
Man.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess it. Yeah.
And I
guess
love
so.
that now commentary is saying that, and I love Hangman brought it up in his promo. He was like, I hung the Hangman, but Hangman swerved. What happened last week? I like how this is how like they are set up a years long rivalry between Hangman and Swerve that they can keep going back to. Like, this is going to be one of the iconic rivalries of AEW.
Poor Hangman. I hope when he comes back, he embraces being a heel. I love the fact if they tease him trying to get retribution on the Bucks because he sees the light and he's like, you did a great, you helped me out, man. I needed time to myself. You helped me with my rehab, my mental health situation. As EVPs, they took care of him. That's why I won. I think people underestimate and underappreciate Hangman, so he needs this run, kind of like Drew McIntyre was underappreciated in WWE, because I see them as parallel. There's two guys who was the aces of their company, but they're underrated by the fan base because they get pushed aside too much. So now they need to be disgruntled heels in order to remind fans who the fuck they are.
And they're both justified heels as well. They're very justified in why they are angry or why they turned heel. Very much. So I like that comparison. That's one I didn't think of. That's very good. We have Daniel Garcia's Spanish cousin who says Okada being a heel is great. I 100% agree. And like I said, the Continental Crown with him, I didn't think of that, but that's the perfect person to be Eddie and elevate that title. But let's talk about Okada coming to AEW, because a lot of news has come out about it. Details by Fightful Select. In their report, apparently Okada's signing did not happen until fairly recently. Additionally, Okada will reportedly work for AEW full-time. He's also planning to relocate to the United States, which is going against what a lot of us thought was one of the reasons why Okada was going to AEW. He's expected to be working a full schedule for the company. Per a report by Tokyo Sports, Okada signed a 3-year contract with AEW, said to be valued at 2 billion yen, roughly 13.5 million.
Bag at that man.
That would come out to about 4.5 million per year. According to Fightful's report, Okada's deal is said to be multi-year contract, but the financial terms have not yet been verified. The report also notes that WWE claims that there were no talks between the two sides. However, Fightful reports that WWE sources said that Okada reached out to WWE talent while weighing his options for his next move. He reportedly considered the possibility of going to WWE. At one point, Okada reportedly had renewed interest in joining WWE back in January. On Wednesday's show, of course, he joined up with the Young Bucks in the Elite after they fired Kenny Omega. Fightful reports that there is currently no timetable on the return of Kenny Omega, as the former AEW World Champion is currently recovering from diverticulitis. The idea for Wednesday night's angle was to debut Okada as part of the Elite and set the stage for Omega's eventual return to the ring. A new report says that Okada's AEW deal is for a massive number, as reported by the Tokyo Sports report. Fightful says that they heard that the number was close to around that same amount, and Tokyo Sports reports that their word of the amount of the deal amount comes from sources close to Okada and significantly overturns conventional wisdom in the Japanese professional wrestling world. AEW has not confirmed these figures and are unlikely to do so, as they do not comment on contract terms as a rule. It was noted in a report by Sports Illustrated, Justin Barrasso, that Okada, one of the main reasons why he joined AEW was the idea for him to join up with the Elite and work with the Young Bucks. And apparently this was an idea made by Tony Khan that both the Young Bucks, Okada, and Kenny Omega were in full agreement with. In regards to Okada's reported money amount, both PW Insider and the Wrestling Observer newsletter have denied that it is $4.5 million per year. The former says the number is inflated, while the latter says the number is considerably lower, but still a very large number that led to him signing with the company. But as we have noted a bunch of times about Wrestling Observer newsletter, even in its report, I mean, I can understand if he saw that number and he called up Dave and Jericho was like, no, he's not making more than me. Fuck out of here. No, he's not. It's still a large number, but he's not making more than me. Fix it, Dave. Hung up, and then Dave started typing in the newsletter. Seth, what do you think about the amount of money reportedly that Okada is making and the plan for him to work with the Elite being the main reason why he signed with the company?
What's the alleged amount he's making over his 3 years with the company? What's the amount they're saying at the moment?
Over 3 years is 13 million. 4.5 per year.
Interesting. Good for him. That's what I'm going to say. Good for him. He needs the money because he's been on a elite level as in terms of a performer for years. Unfortunately, New Japan wasn't paying like that. So I understand that Okada has taken a nice vacation for 3 years to heal up from any nagging injuries, to, learn to work a different style. But then again, Okada's one of those guys, he's got an old school method where I know he knows to hold in his, his wrestling. He's like, it's ain't a 40-minute match where I get to do cool stuff for 10. And you just build up to the match. He's like what you call a prestige art house film. It's going to be a bit slow for a bit, guys. Pay attention. It's going to pay off in 10 minutes. So anyway, he's going to do fine in AEW.
Stay with me here. he's like, stay with me here. Stay with me here.
Exactly. That's an Okada match. Not to knock on it. His matches is an artwork. It's an art form. I believe that he's been overdue. Like I just said right now, he's been overdue. And I think the whole Okada with the Young Bucks is great. The Bucks can be his spokesperson in a way. They can speak on his behalf. Where you probably do an additional English language course or whatever it is, just to boost up your English. His English is okay, but wrestling fans, some of them are a bit xenophobic, So
he don't even have to let him speak. Do like Oscar. Don't just speak and we be like what he said. That's it. The Young Bucks, they gonna make some.
Yeah, the Young Bucks can interpret.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Wrong.
Exactly.
To that top AEW star, I hate to break it to you, most of the new signings are probably making more than you, and you're probably twisting TK's arm to get a bump in pay.
But I think I talked about this on the channel, or I talked about it with Jimmy. I think Jericho has the fucking Hall Nash clause.
Oh, the favored nations clause. So if a wrestler gets a bump, he gets a bump as well. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, he needs more head transplants, so he needs the money for it.
You're right about that.
Yeah, he needs a whole portion aside.
Tell him to go with the young. Tell him to go to where the Young Bucks is, because they got. I mean,
it worked out magically for them. Apparently.
Wait, is that really? Because my partner, who barely watches AEW, she said, "Which is the one that's got the receding hairline?" I said, "The one on the left." And she kind of like a bit. She went. When she wasn't 100% like, is that receding? I'm not. So he did, because I asked. He did.
They paid for the luxurious hair extensions in there.
Nick needed it, right? Because Matt was okay.
Yeah.
Nick's the one
Matt
was like,
okay.
Yeah,
was
Nick
okay.
looks like
it was Nick.
the black
Nick
guy
still wears
shape
the
up.
fedora. He still wears the fedora.
Yeah,
that's why he has a hat on. Yeah,
that's why he wears the fedoras.
Nick had the Usain Bolt's hairline where the hair is barely hanging on. Looks like a yarmulke.
All right, we gotta move on. We gotta move on because there's more news coming from AEW. Because as we always know, Josh, Krssi, you've been here a couple of weeks. When AEW invites someone through the door, that means someone's getting kicked out. So there was 2 big firings this week, 2 departures from the company just this past week, as Mike Santana was officially departed from AEW.
And the game work anyway, so don't even fuck. Okay, sorry, my bad.
As reported by Fightful Select on Monday afternoon, Santana initially joined AEW with his tag team partner Ortiz in 2019. However, the duo went their separate ways due to personal reasons, and as of late, Santana has been working singles matches. His absence from the AEW roster page last week was noticed by fans, with reports noting that he has not been backstage at AEW shows for months. The Wrestling Observer newsletter has more details on the situation, noting that Santana hasn't been happy in the company for a very long time. He had reportedly been wanting a singles push, but it wasn't happening. And after he beat Ortiz back on October 25th, he wasn't used on TV again. Mike Santana then confirmed that he has exited AEW, issuing a statement on social media where he said, took a few days to reflect, and I can't tell you how truly blessed and grateful I feel. It's been 5 years full of ups and downs, but above all, it taught me so much about myself in this business. I'm thankful for this opportunity I was given to be part of history at the ground level. I can say that I'll forever be part of that legacy right at day one. But as you know, there comes a time in life where you have to make decisions and take a bet on yourself. We only get one chance at this life thing, and life is about taking risks. You'll never know your true potential unless you really put it to work. I'm a big believer when one door closes, a bigger door opens, and I'm so excited for what the future holds for me. With that being said, I want to thank God and my father for continuing to guide me, my family for their endless support, all the fans who have backed me endlessly no matter what, to Ortiz for the years, and AEW for the knowledge and opportunity. I told you the best is yet to come. I love that Ortiz only got for the years. Man, this is like one of the funniest, saddest stories, Santana and Ortiz. Like the fact that AEW didn't capitalize on them when they first came, I felt like they should have been the second ever AEW World Tag Team Champions. I thought they should have had Lucha Bros win the first time champions, and then LAX Lucha Bros was a rivalry that Impact Wrestling was eating good on in early 2019, and AEW never did it. So they never capitalized on it. They were stuck in Jericho's rivalries and feuds for 2.5 years before they just completely fell apart because Santana wanted more from them and realized that they weren't being, met to their full potential, while Ortiz was pretty complacent, being used quite often in the Jericho rivalries because that was like upper mid card to main event, where honestly, I can understand both perspectives when it comes to that. And that was the little split that led to this falling out, and now Santana out of the company.
Sad, man, sad.
So this is how I feel about the whole situation, right? I get it. Santana wants to bet on himself. You can't bet on yourself on that deep roster in AEW. Apologies, mate. This feels like if Booker T in 1995 decided that he wanted to be a single star. It's like, nah, dude, we just want Harlem Heat to say, you got potential, not to diss you, mate. But it's like, it's not time yet. That's why I kind of feel like it, because it's kind of like, how can I best describe how I feel about him wanting to be a solo star? It's legit. 95, Booker T wants to go out on his own, wants to be a single star. It's like, mate, you can be TV champion, but I don't know if you can be US champion, because this is, we're approaching that point where it's going to be NWO coming in a year's time. It's not time yet. But maybe 96 Booker T, that makes more sense. 96 Booker T, it's not time yet. It wasn't time yet for Santana. If there's ever a wrestler that needs to go to NXT in order to prove himself, in order for us to get rid of the preconceived notion we have is Mike Santana. I think he'll benefit from Shawn Michaels' learning tree in Tampa, because at the moment, I don't know what a Mike Santana singles run will look like. Yeah, he can cut, deep promos, and yeah, he's good in the ring, but it's like, what else? So if he goes to NXT and they find him, because he's got potential to be a star. Sometimes we got a potential, but how do we go past from potential to making it a reality? And in the way to make it a reality, put him in NXT. Because to be honest, WWE's roster in terms of like deep talent stackness is not on the same level as AEW. So it could be a role for him in WWE possibly.
I think WWE actually has a deeper roster than AEW. I think AEW has a deeper main event roster than WWE right now. Josh, I will ask you though, because you know Santana a lot more than all of us. You've seen him from the independent scene, from your time working over there. What do you think about the whole situation, what went down with Santana leaving the company?
I mean, it's unfortunate, but at this point, I think I expected it, just because, again, he's been unhappy for so long. He's been vocal about it. And usually when you get to that point, when you're vocal on social media or in interviews about how you're being used, you're pretty much 1 foot out the door at that point. So him leaving now, I mean, it was expected. But I do agree with, I don't think neither guy is wrong for how they feel, because I mean, I personally know Santana and Ortiz. One guy wants more, the other one was okay with having the job. whatever he was doing. Either side is not wrong. I just think that sometimes maybe the way that you approach it could be wrong. I don't think the way Santana was approaching it was at times appropriate. That's just me being honest about that. But I do understand wanting more, right? You should know your worth. I understand wanting more, and I do agree with Sat that him having a big singles run, it was not going to happen in AEW. The roster's too stacked for anything significant for him to happen. That's just the reality of the situation. You know, you could be great, you could be talented. Unfortunately, when there's multiple guys who are probably just better in that situation, you're just gonna be right under that, unfortunately. And I think that's where he falls in. Where he goes next. I mean, if he's doing great things on the independent scene, I think that would be great for him because he's already been doing that. As for like somewhere like NXT, I think it could work out. The only problem is like if he goes there, I don't want this whole Puerto Rican kind of thing that was gonna gimmick thing that's gonna happen in NXT. You know what I mean? Like it might make him to a joke.
I
don't want that.
I'll be the one to say it adamant. I don't want him to go to NXT. I think they totally exploit his nationality because it doesn't seem like NXT knows how to do anything. But you're this? Okay, we're gonna turn that up to 10. We're gonna turn that up to that's all they do. I think that honestly, I saw it in the chat. I saw it. Emmanuel Santana and Impact and Santana and TNA right now.
I'm about to say that's where he should go. Yeah.
That might be the move where he can get.
But I get.
Yes.
And give him the.
You know, it's funny. I was about to say that.
Josh Alexander template, tag team guy who was a part of an established all-time tag team in Impact, who they gave a steady rise to make him a main eventer. Just give Santana that same template, and they could have another top guy there.
Yeah, and with TNA, I think that would be a great spot for him because I mean, when it comes to NXT, like Sat did make some good points about NXT. It could happen. It's just a matter of would it happen. And I was like, I don't know about that. I just wouldn't have complete faith in HBK of doing anything with him because HBK's booking is more of like, oh wait, this is shit they did with me before. I'm just gonna focus on that. That's been HBK's booking. Like, let's be real about that. So that's why I can't really say, oh, he's a terrible booker or a great booker. He's just doing shit that worked for him back in the day. But I think TNA will be a good spot for him. And I think at the end of the day, man, he's just gonna have to put in the work. Like if this is your way of trying to prove, hey, this is what you could have had or what I could have been in AEW, he's really gonna have to amp it up. That's the only thing I would say about that. But he's a good guy. He's a good, again, I've met him a few times, hung out with him a few times. He's a good dude, and I really hope everything works out. Even like down the road, maybe we get a Santana Ortiz reunion. Like I think those dudes are, again, they're great people. I really hope things work out for him.
Couple of things before we wrap up this conversation about him. Number one, I blame top AEW staff for this situation. His self-indulgent behavior is why we never got the tag title run from Proud and Powerful. Number two, give Ortiz a new tag team partner. Look, there's a billion of Puerto Rican guys in independence. Pluck one and put him in the team.
You want to say pluck one?
Sorry, no. Listen, I'm sorry. Listen,
they use him now as Eddie Kingston, occasional tag team partner.
But Kingston doesn't need it. It's awkward. It's kind of like when Kingston is now in a different spot than he was a year ago. So it's like that's not going to work. Eddie Kingston's supposed to fight Okada. That's the level he's not at. Ortiz is still, you'd be lucky to find him on Rampage. You know what I'm saying? Put him in a love triangle with Ruby Soho and Cool Hand Luke.
Ring of Honor. Put him on Ring
of
Honor.
He's a love triangle.
Love triangle. Yeah. I feel like he'll do a better job. I feel like Kim and Ruby will have more chemistry because Ortiz is underrated in the comedy department as well. I think Ortiz is an underrated character.
Oh, no, I agree with you on that.
He's a
great.
Cat. He's a kooky
cat.
You gotta
see kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love him. I miss Chunky Ortiz. That was the guy, you know what I'm saying? But also, Santana could potentially go to New Japan as well. Who knows? But nobody likes New Japan at the moment because
we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Don't worry. I
actually agree with that stuff. Like the whole comedy snick, like he's actually really good with that. He was great at that in the independent scene. He had like a lot of great stuff. Like there was one time where they wrestled like a tag team that they do like massages. And they kept massaging him while they're doing the move, and he kept saying like, "Oh my god, it's so good! Don't stop doing it!" While they're putting the move on him. Like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, Ortiz. They should explore that more. Yeah, he's got charisma.
A super chat donation here from Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will. He says, "I think AEW assumed that everybody knew that AEW was showing up. Yes, we knew the meaning, the die hard wrestling, but AEW can't assume that everybody knows. They have to sell the shows better." I agree. It's all about, like, they have this party atmosphere. They got this new look. Like, you gotta be able to kind of
sell it,
and you also have to announce who's gonna be on the shows. Like, you did the whole Collision taping this week where people didn't know until the day before who was gonna be on the show. Because they don't announce, like, at least WWE months in advance will say Cody Rhodes is going to be on this show. Cody Rhodes, Bianca Belair, and
for like the house shows and stuff.
It's going to
like
be
that.
on this show in West Bubblefuck in 3 months' time. But they don't know what the match is going to be. You don't always have to just, like, you have to announce people in advance. You know that you're going to book Swerve on every episode of Dynamite. So why is it Swerve? Right. Advertise on every episode of Dynamite that you're about to do. They have to just promote the shows better. So many little things in one.
I agree with that.
We got another super chat donation from Will Sizzlem. Thank you so much, Will. As always, he says, I always said, I blame Chris Jericho for holding Proud and Powerful back from the tag titles because Chris wants to ho-hop in other people's storylines. Yes, that's all.
I mean, he's not lying. Thank you, Will, for that one, because that's truth. That's truth.
It is. And his poor Hook is now the next victim.
Oh, he's like an energy vampire. Bloody hell, Sammy Guevara. Look what you've done.
He's the energy vampire.
He is. He is. Him and his stupid wig.
That's actually a great shout. This would be a great comedy team. Ortiz and Mark Briscoe.
I love it.
Hilarious comedy team.
They would be great, yeah, but it sucks that Mark Briscoe's right, man. Like, you know, when you're part of the bad tag team vote time, you can't go back, man. You can't.
That's also true. And I love Mark Briscoe promos. They wake me up. I was laying down on Dynamite, then I saw him on the scring cutting a crazy ass promo about Tennessee Fires. I was like, oh, let me get up. I gotta get up.
His single match too. His single matches too. He's really good. He's really good.
His
single stuff too. Like his single matches.
He reminds me of the Boogie Woogie man. He's the Jimmy Valiant man. Like he sounds like an 80s promo man when he get it downtown, tight brass tacks, man. I love it.
Absolutely. But Santana was not the only person who left AEW this week. Meanwhile, you got Kevin Kelly is now gone from AEW after a controversial run with the company. On Thursday, Kevin Kelly was noticeably removed from the AEW roster page. Kelly, who has been a broadcaster on AEW Collision since the launch of the show last June, drew attention due to comments he made on social media claiming that he was libeled by Ian being Ian Riccaboni, ROH broadcaster. He also said that he was continually getting pushed aside in his broadcaster role, and in a series of posts he shared on X, formerly Twitter, on Saturday, March 2nd, Kevin Kelly wrote, I do the same thing in our AEW because it's critical to explain the why. But the idea of what I bring to the table is lost there because Ian libeled me. I sit on the bench and valued by my peers, waiting to get my number called. He continued later, I keep asking why, but I get pushed aside. It's okay because there is no one better than me. Ask the ones that know, they'll tell you. Prior to signing with AEW, Kelly was the lead English commentator on New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he's also worked in ROH and WWE. AEW has not yet released a statement of any kind in regards to what Kevin Kelly has said or his removal from the AEW roster page. A new report had a small update on his removal. PW Insider reports that Kelly did not work this week's AEW Collision taping. Tony Schiavone and Nigel McGuinness called the show as a two-man booth. And according to a new report from PW Torch on Friday, Kevin Kelly has officially been fired from AEW. Sources claim that it was Kelly's social media post that cost him his job. Him specifically noting Ian Riccobody accused him of spreading basically like MAGA and other kind of views on child trafficking after he promoted the film Sound of Freedom. And Kelly wrote, when you go out of your way to intentionally mischaracterize any raising awareness of the global horrors of child trafficking to a fringe conspiracy theory that everyone knows is bullshit in order to hurt my career and standing in the industry that at the very least is libelous. But the idea of what I bring to the table is lost there because Ian libeled me. So I sit on the bench valued by my peers, awaiting to get my number called once again. Beyond that, Kelly's work in AEW was viewed as subpar by people in the company, and as well as possibly Tony Khan, who made Tony Schiavone the lead commentator on Collision a few months back. So, the end of the controversial run of Kevin Kelly. Kevin Kelly is a friend of us here. He shouted me out on a New Japan broadcast just last year for my birthday. So, I am a fan of Kevin Kelly, but the Kevin Kelly that I'm a fan of in New Japan,
this one.
We just haven't seen that in AEW. Maybe it's the translation with everything, or maybe it's just how AEW is formatted. It just didn't work out, but it's sad that it's because of a social media and a misunderstanding and back and forth with another commentator what led to all of this. What do you think, Miss Krssi Luv?
It's very unfortunate, but I wish him lots of luck, but I mean, when you do things like that, it doesn't benefit you. So, they have to get rid of those people that do certain things that are not, that doesn't make the company look good. You're giving the company a bad name. You're doing things. We don't want that. We want that tied in with us. We don't need none of that shit. So, yes. Sorry, friend. But he thinks that he's much better than it is. So, do your thing. Bye.
I when I read that quote that was for the first time. I didn't know he said all of that. He was feeling himself.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm like. Oh, you got this, no problem. Let's see. Toodles.
You get a job in no time, apparently.
Right. Do your thing, friend.
What did you think about Kevin Kelly's run in AEW?
Before I tell you about what I thought about his run, Malachi Black. Now you know what you need to do. Bully Ian Riccoboni, say some MAGA stuff, and you can go back to WWE. It's that simple. Buddy, you're from you're from a country that probably believes that thing. Say the same thing. Make Australia great again. And then leave. Bounce. Kevin Kelly, is it the fact that we needed an English commentator so badly, we were happy with wherever we got, so we hyped him up more than what he actually is? He sounds the same to me as he did in WWE, so I didn't see any difference. He sounded the same as he sounded when I popped into ROH for a few months. I think whatever year it was, 2014, 2015. I was like, Kevin Kelly. For me, it's like I don't see the difference. They said he wasn't familiar with the product. He knows most of the wrestlers, right? He used to call their matches. I
mean, when he butchered Andrade El Idolo.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, listen, that WWE guy. Of course, I don't blame him. He led Destino and he rode it till the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Andrade aside, listen, a lot of people butchered Andrade. Another announcer butchered Andrade, but I can't remember. For me, it's like you got what you bought. Now the reality kicks in. You're with sober eyes and sober ears. Now you're moving away from Japan and you put him in America and he sounds different. He was doing the same thing. He did the same little banter.
No, he had a lot more passion in New Japan. Honestly, New Japan is what tapped in. He finally had passion in his work. I agree. He was the same in WWE that he was in Ring of Honor because he wasn't passionate. Then he got shipped over to Japan. All he had to do was learn what New Japan was all about. He became a fan of it, and it tapped into him being passionate. You go back to his G1 calls in 2017, in 2018. It's some of the best work a commentator has ever done. He was so tapped in, telling the stories of every match, telling the history of the competitors and when they were in the ring together. He created a whole kind of lexicon that a lot of people became New Japan fans of. They became fans of the Elite, the Bullet Club. It's all because of Kevin Kelly kind of building the gap between the language barrier of New Japan and that, and it was because of his passion, and that's what lacked when he went to Collision. He was not passionate. That passion now left him. It's like it escaped him. It's like his passion is only located in Japan. That's how it was.
But why? That's the bizarre thing. Then why was he not tapped in? Because he wanted to move back to America, right? That whole point was his wife needed him back. You know, he had a great time in Japan, but it's that time. Everyone gets that point where he's like, you know, I want to be home. And now he's home. And now NWA, you're about to get your new lead announcer.
You think that's where he's going?
Damn. Bro, if you're talking about he wasn't motivated in AEW, NWA.
TNA is Tom Phillips, Tom is fine. Exactly. Tom has got that on lock. Unless TNA builds a B show, they need another announcer. Listen, Mauro Ronaldo's not back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not fit to Kevin Kelly, unless WWE is like, yeah, you know, we've got a bit of nostalgia for your work. Listen, I think to be honest, it feels like he doesn't like Michael Cole, because I feel like him and Michael Cole were the two on the cusp, and they went, we go with that guy. So I know for a fact that he's kind of said it in the past when he thought he was king shit in New Japan, like, yo, they fired me, and then after that, I stayed for a few months because they owed me money. Do you remember? He was feeling himself in the interview. But yeah, now you're gone. But Destino.
Hey, you always have that. You always have Destino.
Yeah, go back to Japan. I don't know.
Nah. Our boy Walker Stewart got that. Sorry, bro.
Oh, Walker Stewart. Walker Stewart's got that Scott Hudson voice. He's got a moral voice. He's got a voice. He got a WCW. Yeah, he got a WCW. Listen, I was like, is it WCW 2000? It's like Scott Hudson.
And y'all know, when I heard his voice and then did the interview with him, to find out that man is 21 years old, I was like, what the fuck? How the fuck you get that voice at 21? I was like, I'm still working on my deep voice at 35. What we doing? What am I doing wrong? Velvet voice.
You don't do anything wrong. Listen. He's got a big man voice. He's got that earthquake kind of gene where he probably looks 40, but he's 21. That means he could. That means he's getting alcohol for his mates. You know, with a fake ID. He was McLovin in the situation, right? He was McLovin in the situation. And look how tall he is as well. Bloody built like a fridge.
We love you, Walker, here. We just showing love. AEW, Rampage, and Collision. We had Rampage last night. The show featured Top Flight beating Commander and Brian Keith and Private Party in a fun three-way main event. Meanwhile, Julia Hart retained the TBS championship in a win over Robin Renegade. Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta picked up a victory over Kip Sabian and The Butcher as they picked up momentum heading into the upcoming tag team title tournament. Then you had Collision last Saturday. It did 455,000 viewers. Christian Cage, Killswitch, Roderick Strong, and Brian Cage defeated Trent Beretta, Orange Cassidy, Hook, and Daniel Garcia in a good multi-man main event. Meanwhile, Dante Martin qualified for the All-Star 8-man scramble at AEW Revolution in a fun three-way victory over Penta El Zero Miedo and Brian Keith. And you also had Timeless Tony Storm and Deonna Purrazzo had a pretty good in-ring promo ahead of their AEW Revolution matchup, ending with Purrazzo laying out Mariah May with the Queen's Gambit. But, of course, AEW got more news for us to discuss coming out of a pay-per-view. AEW has suspended Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara has been absent from AEW television for several weeks because he has been suspended from the company. Guevara's suspension came after a scary incident involving Jeff Hardy during a no DQ match on an episode of AEW Rampage. Hardy sustained a broken nose after taking a knee to the head during the matchup, And despite the injury, Hardy assured the referee that he was fine and continued to finish the bout. However, Hardy has not been seen in action since then. Nope. Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful Select reports that the concussion protocol was not followed during this matchup, which resulted in Guevara hitting his finisher on Hardy, something that was not supposed to happen. Guevara did work a matchup against Powerhouse Hobbs to write him off, and after that matchup has not been seen since. And some thought Guevara's lack of selling for Hobbs could have contributed to the suspension as well, but that has not been confirmed. There's been no word of any disciplinary action for the referee as of yet, and the duration of Guevara's suspension remains uncertain, as well as Hardy's return to the ring. The tale as told as time, Sammy Guevara in trouble in AEW.
You know, Sammy needs to sit down and do some self-reflection. And I think that, I'm sorry, you never even asked me. I apologize.
No, go ahead. This is what the show's about.
I just think that it's something where it's happening too often. And I think that if he really sits down with the heads and like let them, I hope that they explaining to him why they are doing this. Like, oh, we're not just suspending you just because we're gonna fucking suspend you. No, you and probably has to do with someone coming in on Wednesday. But you know, hey, maybe.
I saw
I'm
people.
I'm just playing.
I'm alluding to that.
I'm just playing.
Kira Hogan is not being seen, and they're like, "Oh, the connection. Sammy Guevara suspended. Now Kira Hogan not being used. It's because someone's coming in."
What's the beef with Okay, never mind. Sorry, we're sidetrack.
The blue hair. It was the blue hair thing from years back.
Listen, you know how many blue-haired ladies is walking around out in Brooklyn?
Can't be black with blue hair in wrestling, though.
Okay, whatever.
Apparently, to Kira Hogan created that. And
yeah, DDP said that he created the diamond this time too.
Hey, he got money for that though. He did.
That's why Jay-Z don't use it no more.
He did create that, so that's why Jay-Z.
You sure? Because I could have sworn Jay-Z was doing it before that. The Dynasty was okay. Whatever. Okay,
that fine. Dynasty comes out in 2000. DDP been using that since '96.
All right,
95. Like he got a 5 year.
We're getting sidetracked.
His kids could have graduated from high school in the time that Jay-Z learned that DDP was doing that.
And Game, you couldn't get the name from Triple H, haha, because he's been the Game longer. The Game. Yeah, chill, JC on.
Okay, all I'm saying is that the Tony Khan and the head need to speak to Sammy. It's happening too often. It's just happening like way too often now. Like you injured both brothers. This is a problem, sir. Like you're too reckless, and it's like what like in their accidents. I'm sure he's not doing these all like purpose. I'm hoping that's not the case. However, he really does need to do some self-reflection, and someone needs to sit him down, like let him know, like this is what's happening.
But I also think that's why the suspension happened, because it did happen it's happened too often. I think that's why. I think that's why the suspension happened. I think if it was another talent that's had like a clean slate and that would have happened, I think they'll be reprimanded, but I don't think they would have been suspended. But because this is more than one occasion, they had to do something. So I mean, I do agree with it, just because I mean it's getting to a point that you're holding the person accountable, and it's gonna be interesting to see if they hold the referee accountable, whoever that was. Because I don't remember who was the referee for that. Yeah,
I think it was Paul Turner, maybe. I think.
Oh yeah, Brooklyn.
Well,
did the same thing.
Well, Paul Turner, yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah,
there's only
because it's usually the other guy who doesn't do anything.
Oh,
it's usually the other guy.
Rick Knox.
He sucks, man.
It's usually, it's usually Rick Knox. Yeah. I'm saying like it's usually Rick Knox who doesn't do what he's supposed to do as a referee. Like when that time that Axe Reynolds got knocked out, he didn't do anything. But yet all the talent got blamed. But yet everyone ignores the fact that Rick Knox didn't even check on the man. But it was a talent who removed him from the situation, knowing that he was knocked out.
Exactly. Bush League referee with bold ass head and his elbow pads. Yeah. So there's only 3 referees I like. Stefan Smith, because he went to the WWE School of Refereeing. He's nice. Aubrey, Bryce Remsburg. Those are the 3 I like. Everyone else, do better. Paul Turner, maybe, because, the affinity with, ROH and stuff like that. Maybe. But yeah, everyone else, do better. Do better. Sammy Guevara, my points about Sammy is this. If he's suspended, so should be the referee, because there's nothing else I can add to it.
Yeah, true. That's very true. You're right. Absolutely.
I agree. It's not fair. He hasn't learned anything. That referee, guys, I'm glad you agree with me. That referee hasn't learned nothing. He's still walking around being a menace. If Sammy has to chill at home, so does the referee.
And I think Sammy should probably say that as well. Like I think he didn't even know in the moment that he did that.
Bingo.
If the referee was more in tune to what was happening in a match, and he could have thrown up the sign or do whatever to get someone to kind of like, let's just stop this match, or like just do a real finisher and just slam him, like
if the referee's basically guidance was for him to finish the match, that's what he did. He hit his finisher, and that was the finish of the matchup. If the referee meant to pin him, then the referee was in the wrong.
Yeah.
Referee's in the wrong. Maybe he misconstrued. He's like, go for the finish. Oh, yeah, I'll go for the finish.
I'll do my finisher.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
it goes, go. No, I said go to finish in English. Can you just roll him up?
Yeah, just pin him. Right, that's why you use different terminology. It's pin. Just pin him.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe he said go to finish. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think that it was just a miscommunication. So I hopefully we'll get Sammy back and won't have another occasion like this.
I want Sammy to come back then turn on Jericho just for shits and giggles.
Oh God. Speaking of Mercedes Moné that Krssi Luv was bringing up, our last AEW news note is about her recent interview where she said that she believes that she will return to WWE at some point in her career. Moné expected to debut with AEW next week at Big Business, and she recently spoke with Evan T. Mack on Kick Rocks in an interview in a line that was cut from the full interview but appears in a clip posted on Kick Rocks. Moné said that she expects to work for WWE at some point in the future. She said, and I quote, "I know I'm going to be back there one day. It's not over. I have a lot of unfinished business in wrestling in a lot of places." Moné said elsewhere in the interview that leaving WWE was the hardest decision I've ever had to make in my whole life, but it's the proudest. And it's very grateful to the company for the career they gave me and the fans they gave me, the life they gave me, the dreams they gave me. So Mercedes Moné would be the person who's about to debut in AEW and says she's going to return to WWE one day. Because what the fuck is Tony Khan and AEW going to do about that?
Well, also, the fact is, she's 31 years old. She probably did maths. She's like, okay, it's one run. I may be 34, 35 by the end of it. Maybe I want to go back, because there's also the whole thing of like 2 things. She hasn't debuted yet. She may fall in love with the locker room and they may not want to leave. She's going to go off the memories of the old company she worked for. She doesn't know what the new company's like. Once she's there, she might be like, oh, this is better. I guess to do that. Yeah. The money is great. She may change her mind. This is from a mindset of someone that's yet to debut and also being a good businesswoman.
Well, my big question is, do y'all think AEW made the right decision in not promoting Mercedes Moné for next week's Big Business? Because I am under the understanding that I think it's a mistake the way they've done this. I think that they should have just outright said it, because it's too obvious at this point, and you're not going to replicate what you did with the first dance. So I feel they should have announced Mercedes Moné for Big Business.
I agree. So Krssi Luv, I know you're going to say something. I want to say something quickly, and then I'll let you say your thing. I think Tony's thrown into the trap that Vince fell into. If it works for Hogan, it works for you do something different. Chrissy's your time.
No, I was saying, what do you mean by the big dance? I don't know. What do you mean?
First dance is when CM Punk debuted with the company.
It was a mystery,
and they didn't say he was debuting. They just dropped a few hints, and it sold out. It did a big number in the ratings. But this is not AEW in 2021. This is Boston in 2024. There's 7,000 tickets sold. There's only about like 80 something tickets, still left available, but you can open it up and get 10,000 people. And I feel like you would have already gotten 10,000 people if you had just flat out announced Mercedes Moné.
Or give little nuggets or little vignettes on that she may be coming.
No, just announce it. Honestly, that's like no. It's like no. Do this different than what you did the first time.
Maybe
you're not going to be able to replicate that.
Oh, okay. I think maybe they believe because they've been like building on this big announcement. They've had it in the graphic. They send little nuggets that's been here and there, and it's in Boston. I think they feel like they've built enough on her name that it'll trigger people to come. I think that's what Tony's feeling, and I think that's what she thinks as well too. But yes, there could be more promotion and more like biggest star ever, like you don't even have to outright say her name. Like one of our biggest signings yet. We've already got these 3. We got one more to go. There's not like make Tony like make little like tweets or whatever. I don't know.
I just think there was a better way than what they've gone about.
He does need better PR people. He does need better promotional stuff. Like you just hire someone, maybe someone that left, or like get someone that does this like for a living, that knows how to like brand sporting events. Like you don't even have to be from wrestling. It could be from like a UFC or a football event. Like people that know how to promote big events, they need someone of that caliber in their company.
We got another super chat donation here. From which one? I see. He gave us a few here. From, of course, Will Chisholm. He says the only way WWE brings back Kevin Kelly is so The Rock can bully him on camera again. Absolutely. The Rock will get him hired back, and Brian Gerwitz.
I mean, that's about it, and then he'll probably be fired again.
Soon thereafter. Just a couple of days later, he's fired because he promoted a movie. We got a couple of people in the chat who said they saw the interview with Mercedes Moné, and Manuel says people are making a big deal out of nothing with that Mercedes quote. Yeah, absolutely. But I do find it funny. She said that she's going to return.
Yeah,
a week before she debuts in AEW.
Yeah, I think it's more. I actually do agree with what Sat said, that it's more the mindset of where she's currently at, because again, she hasn't been in the AEW locker room, and it might get to a point that if she loves it so much, she's gonna be comfortable and she's gonna stay there, maybe finish her career there. So I mean, I do, but I also understood where she's coming from, because in a lot of aspects, a lot of wrestlers, they end up going back to WWE. So, I mean, I respect her for being honest about it. But it's one of those things where, again, yeah, she's with a new company, but she hasn't experienced that yet. Like, she hasn't been around the locker room. She hasn't been around those people yet for her to, and people change their minds all the time. It could happen. We've seen it with Cody. This is my home, AEW. I'm never leaving AEW. And he went back to WWE. So it could happen, People change their minds all the time, but I respect her for being transparent about it. I think sometimes that is important, and especially when you do interviews and they ask you a certain question, you can say, "Hey, yeah, she probably," some people probably say, "Oh, well, she could have not answered the question, but she was being honest," and I like it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, honestly. We got another super chat donation. Thank you so much, Will Chisholm. He says, I used to laugh when people say Sammy will learn he's young. I'm like, he's 30. I'm 4 years older than him. All because he's smooth faced don't mean he's a kid. Yeah, it seemed like we always have these issues with Sammy. And maybe it's his personality. I don't know. It seemed, especially like the whole situations that he had with Andrade and Eddie Kingston, it felt like a maturity thing, but it's like you have no excuse for being immature because, you're fucking 30. That happened just 2 years ago. Grow the fuck up.
Yep. You have a kid now. Your priorities.
Yeah, he is 30. He's 30. Yeah, I mean, he's 30, but he's like 23 in the wrestling business, so. No, but I do agree that he.
I mean, there's people in WWE who's younger and act more mature than him.
I mean, that's true. I mean that is true. I'm just saying in retrospect. In retrospect. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to Sammy, I mean, there's some people who just never learn. That's the reality of the situation, and I don't know if he's ever gonna learn. When it comes to this incident, it's weird to me because it's Sammy, that's why it's being made a big deal. Because it's Sammy. Again, like if it was somebody else, if there was somebody else who never made this mistake, would it be this much of a big deal? No. But because it's Sammy Guevara, that's why it's being put on the pedestal that it is. So I mean, I get it. I get why. But yeah, I mean, he really needs to figure out something, man, because this dude is too talented to be doing shit like this.
Yes, I agree.
So don't forget, guys, drop the thumbs up on this video. We got nearly 50 of you watching over on YouTube. Remember to drop the thumbs up on the video, share it with your friends, and sound off if you're with us there in the live chat. If you're watching us on Facebook, you could drop a thumbs up, a heart emoji, a laugh emoji, an angry emoji. However, This Week in Wrestling made you feel. Let us know with those emotes. And if you're watching us on Twitter, you could retweet the video, have more people interact, and you could also sound off in the live chat as well. But we're moving out of the Converse into New Japan Pro Wrestling. Just saying hello because I don't want to waste too much time on this fucking shit because it pisses me off talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling now because what the fuck is going on? I'm excited about AEW. We just spent 2 hours talking about AEW. That felt like a breeze. WWE, we're going to talk about right after this fucking journey into Japan. But what the fuck is going on to my New Japan, Gato? 52nd anniversary was this week. The show featured IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Tetsuya Naito having to deal with a fucking main event matchup against Sho of House of Torture, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Turned out to be a decent main event. Naito won. Okay. Yano beat Yujiro Takahashi in a comedy match that lasted about 3 minutes in the New Japan Cup. Meanwhile, Yoshihashi pulled off an upset win in a surprisingly decent little matchup against Kenta for Hashi to advance in the New Japan Cup tournament. And here is where I am annoyed. Jack Perry of AEW made his New Japan Pro Wrestling debut, and he defeated the apparent new ace of the company, Shota Umino, not because he was the better wrestler, not because he just cheated to win. No, he couldn't just do that. No, Jack Perry joined the fucking House of Torture. What the fuck, Gato? What the fuck? Fuck you, Gato. Fuck you. Fuck you. Off with the direction you can fuck, Gato, for this.
Okay, so this is a bad thing. Okay, sorry. I don't.
It's an awful thing.
House of Torture is the worst thing that has happened to New Japan Pro Wrestling since ever. Since they nearly went out of business before Tanahashi became a star. It's the worst thing that's happened to New Japan since the pandemic. And it's a pandemic itself.
Got it. Okay, so understand.
And then you have the rest of the New Japan Cup this week. You had day 2 where, Gato, he's such a magical booker. He had Chase Owens beat Tomohiro Ishii in the first round of the New Japan Cup because that's a great idea. He had Tonga Loa beat the Great Okan because that's apparently a good idea too. And David Finlay picked up the win over TJP. That was actually a good move. And then on the next night, day 3, you had Shingo Takagi defeating Yua Uemura. Yua Uemura looks like Tetsuya Naito when he was in No Limit with his new haircut. Hikuleo beat Bolton Oleg, and Gabe Kidd defeated Callum Newman. That's New Japan this week.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So no one is pleased with the New Japan and the president of how everything is going. Got it.
I put out a whole tweet this week. I was like, I'm excited for WWE right now. You know, you got The Rock back and he's heel and he's cutting great promos in the lead up to WrestleMania. I only have so many characters on Twitter, but there's more stuff I'm excited about with WWE, like Drew McIntyre's chase of the World Heavyweight Championship. What's going on with Gunther and the Intercontinental title over on Raw? Bayley going after the Women's Championship, Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. All those get me excited for WWE. AEW, they got a whole new look for Dynamite. Ospreay's here now. Okada's a heel and he joined the Elite. Mercedes Moné's coming back next week. They had AEW Revolution, all-time pay-per-view, Sting's retirement. And then there's New Japan for Pro Wrestling. What the fuck are you doing here?
So Jack Perry now has, I guess he has dual contract thingamajigs going on. So
it feels like he's on excursion. He's on excursion. Yeah. It's basically the reverse of what happens with the New Japan talent. New Japan talent, when they're done training in the dojos, they go on excursion to the United States where they learn the U.S. style, or they send them to Mexico where they can learn the lucha libre style and expand their moveset and become a better performer. And now it feels like the suspension, and now he's now gone into excursion where he's learning. He's on the full schedule with New Japan.
Got it. Okay.
Any thoughts? Jack Perry and House of Torture. Sad, Josh. Before we move on.
I mean, people on social media treat Jack Perry like he's House of Torture, so it makes sense that he'll be part of House of Torture. And apparently, someone said on Twitter, formerly known as X, formerly known as Twitter, that House of Torture are popular in Japan, but they're not popular with us. And it makes sense because New Japan, they like put people in groups, so he's in a group. He's the American one in the group, you know. And the fact is, they're also mid. They make him look even better, and he's actually talented. Not only to knock on Jack Perry, he's just like, was it small fish? Was it big fish, small pond? He's big fish, small ponding them. So I see it as a positive. Like if then again, you could put him in Bullet Club War Dogs, he'll be better than the leader of the group because at least he's got something there, you know.
So Gabe is already better than the leader of the group. So
yeah, we know that. But then again, that's like every group has a successor coming. He is just like when Finley gets ousted, we know who's taking over. It's been like that in Bullet Club lore for ages, except for Balor. Balor left before AJ can do that to him or whatever.
No, he came in. He
left. White was the only one.
Was the only one where we didn't know. We didn't know David Finley was going to be the replacement. It just happened.
Yeah,
and they're still trying to make that work.
He was miscast. I think he's suffering for it, which bless him. I had a special affinity for Finley because he's Finley's son. He's David Finley, and I like David Finley.
I have a special affinity for Jack Perry because he's still
me too.
You got Will Chisholm with a super chat donation. Thank you so much, Will. He says, so Jack Perry's new rebrand is to put him in a jobber faction. LOL. Wow. It's the top heel faction in New Japan. Is that a good show?
They're not losing.
No, but it is the top heel faction in New Japan.
Also, quick question. Who is Evil blackmailing? Who's nude pictures or sex? You know, because that'll explain why he won the IWGP heavyweight title, you know, the world title. That explains why his group's getting pushed. Who is he blackmailing?
I'm pretty sure he has nude pictures of Gato. Pretty sure.
But then again, listen, people like to clown on Evil, but he once was dating Io Sky. So that guy for me must have some sort of riz. Sorry, for me, my respect level, exactly. If I ever see him, I'll dap him up. I'm like, bro, you know what I'm saying? You're better than that Nassau wrong guy.
Aren't they married?
No, they were probably engaged, but they weren't married. No. Quick exit for her. She's like, I'm Io Sky. I don't know you. That's your right.
Nah, that IWGP title run didn't go well, bro.
Exactly.
But we're moving on to WWE. WWE Smackdown last night. The show featured the highly anticipated answer from Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins as they accepted the challenge of The Rock and Roman Reigns for a tag team match at WrestleMania 40. The Rock then insulted Cody by telling him that since he is 20 years younger than his siblings, then he must have been a mistake, which resulted in Cody getting his slap back across the face of The Rock after Seth called him Mr. Midlife Crisis. Seth Rollins actually showed up for this promo exchange. Logan Paul kicked off the show by announcing that Prime Energy will be the first center ring sponsor for WWE Premium Live events starting with WrestleMania 40. He also introduced KSI before Randy Orton came out to deliver an RKO to KSI and took a drink of the Prime Energy. Then Orton teamed with Kevin Owens to defeat Grayson Waller and Austin Theory in a solid opener. Dragon Lee beat Angel in a very fun lucha matchup. Post-match, Legado del Fantasma laid out Dragon Lee with a beatdown because LWO wasn't in the house. Then Bayley cut a passionate promo about Dakota Kai's betrayal of her the prior week. While Naomi sympathized with Bayley after this interview, Bianca Belair did not and showed no remorse before Kai challenged Bayley for a matchup for next week's show. So what did you think about the highly anticipated Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins accepting the challenge of The Rock and Roman Reigns for WrestleMania? What did you think about the whole promo and the slap heard around the world? We'll start with you, Josh, since you look very happy.
Oh, because I am. Cody got his slap back. That's all that mattered to me.
Is that what you?
Honestly, I was a little worried just because of the time. When I was looking at the time, I was like, oh, they only got like 10 minutes
it took
left.
20 minutes for entrances.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, once they got to the ring, it was like maybe like less than 10 minutes left. And I was like,
you gotta sing Cody's song. You gotta do Seth's song.
What's gonna be said? I was just like, what's gonna be said that's gonna like put this really, really over? But it ended up being great. I mean, like I said, he got his slap back. Seth finally did something because, oh my God, he was being dragged through the mud in every aspect, not only by Roman, by The Rock. That shitty line that he said on Monday, he was being dragged for
trying to save
this whole thing.
Now they're actually chanting diarrhea. Oh God, I was like, oh, I don't want to be a part of the WWE universe after they chanted diarrhea twice.
And then, but I mean, he finally showed up. I was like, finally something like. But that midlife crisis line was great. Like, I didn't expect that. That was, great stuff. And then Cody, that line, he said, "You're a mistake." He smacked the shit out of it.
This is some good promo stuff that he's doing right now. I don't know who or how or what's in the stuff that he's drinking, but it's really good shit.
And then yesterday, my status that I wrote yesterday was the last time The Rock got slapped like that, James Gunn fired him.
Pretty good line there. Sat, you gave your thoughts over on the WrestleTalk podcast, but any quick thoughts on that final segment and SmackDown overall last night?
The entire segment could have been done in the email. Kidding.
That's literally how I described Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes promo on Raw, though.
The Raw promo was definitely that. They like elongated the answer. I feel like I'm so happy we bullied The Rock to actually be in The Rock and no longer being Dwayne Johnson. So that for me is the big positive. I'm enjoying it. From the lightning entrance, the aura. He's got his aura back. He's no longer, "Hi guys. When I say booty, you say wipe. Booty, wipe, booty, wipe." You know, that version of The Rock is gone. Now he's saying that version. Now off is the direction you can fuck. He is on it. He is hitting.
Oh yeah, that promo with the cowboy hat on.
Bro, the intensity of the words spoken. Because I speak like that, so I'm like, I'm intense. I'm intense too. I like it. Listen, it's reinvigorated the juices that's simulated.
That's stimulated. There you go. Krssi, any final thoughts on the segment and SmackDown overall last night?
I'm just waiting to let y'all know WrestleMania gonna be a long last main event. That the with everybody's entrances is gonna be forever. That's gonna be like 30 minutes, maybe 40 in itself. match is probably 10 minutes, but the entrances alone is gonna take forever, and we're gonna be at the end of the night like, oh my god, let's go. I want to go home.
And to add to that, Brody Lee's wife, she tweeted about it.
Oh, she's
and
gonna
her
be there.
tweet, but she made a good point. She says, talking about an age gap when your own daughters are almost 20 years apart is a weird choice because The Rock's daughters are like.
Wait, she got roasted and pelted in the comments for that for saying that because the Rock Nation wasn't feeling that. And Emmanuel,
I feel like people don't have they do these tweets but don't think about what will happen afterwards.
Oh, I mean, it happens all the time.
Or you don't care. You stop caring. I stopped caring after a while. Emmanuel says the cross-dresser insult at Seth from Roman wasn't it. I saw a lot of people online that were like saying that and said that it felt like Roman regretted saying that line as soon as he said it.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like meh. I mean, I wasn't offended, but it was just like
it could be. I can see where it was offended to some people. Yes.
Yeah, I could see why, but to me, it was more flat.
Right.
Yeah, it was more flat than anything. I think that was probably the weakest line out of everybody, even more than Seth, which is saying a whole lot.
I was offended because is that all you can come up with, Roman? Come on, do better.
Yeah,
do better.
Come on. That's where I'm like, okay, well, you
see when you bring it to that point, then yeah, you're right. I was offended.
Yeah, it feels like with Brock, we can't mention anything about the DCEU, which is kind of like I would love for someone to mention that. And with Seth, we can't mention that he is clearly very insecure about Roman Reigns. Like, we're just not going to mention that. We're just going to keep talking about the way he dresses and not the fact that you shoehorned yourself into this whole story because you're insecure that Roman Reigns, the guy you trained, is now above you. And now the guy that came into this company, that created the competition for this company, and then beat your ass 3 times, he's higher on the totem pole. And now this guy who's a Hollywood star, he's higher on the totem pole, you're the odd man out.
I can't believe you.
Yeah, I think the reason why the DC stuff is not being brought up is because because of the studio stuff. Maybe that's why. I can see why they wouldn't bring it up. But that would be some banger. Like, if you think about it, man, they would have to bring that up. Oof. Man, that would be perfect. But they're not going to do it.
In defense of Seth Rollins, because he needs some defending here. Because you're stoking, you're just flaming him up.
I'm not. I'm being honest. No one wants to be honest with Seth Rollins. Oh, Seth has been working so hard.
No, it's not that. No, it's not. In character.
No,
don't worry, it's not that.
The fourth guy here, guys. He's clearly.
No, he is.
No, it's not. He's not. He's not.
Yes,
he's part of the story. This is the origin story of Roman Reigns being tribal chief. Is the rejection from the fans and the betrayal from Seth Rollins. He helped create the monster that he is today. It feels like a film. Like everybody talk about cinema. I'm never talking in an ironic way. It's like a film. He wants to help kill what he kind of what's the word? He kind of the word I'm looking for? He kind of like created a monster in Roman Reigns that he did not know that's gonna bite him in the butt. Because the whole run the Roman's been on, the fact that he's not turning up for weeks, the lack of opportunity he's getting, is kind of his fault. So he sees himself as a person that needs to help.
But the problem is that he's also said that his way to combat that is to make the World Heavyweight Championship the most important thing. That's not the most important thing to you now. Now you're focused on Roman and his title. So you're literally going against one of your character traits. Therefore, you're shoehorning yourself into this whole thing. That is why I'm saying, like, no one wants to mention that because that's the truth. Like, the truth is the thing that they seem to be avoiding with Seth, and they seem to be avoiding it with The Rock. And I think that it would add a lot to these segments if we start saying that truth. Like, you're giving me the whole WWE spiel of, oh, he created the monster of the blah, 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 blah. That's fine and dandy. That's nice. That's not the real reason why Seth Rollins is in this. The reason why Seth Rollins is in this is because he wasn't going to main event at WrestleMania without CM Punk. So he needs to. to this shit.
It's true. I'm speaking.
That's the truth.
That's the truth. I wouldn't go
That's
against it.
that honesty at its finest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He was never going to main event unless that was going to be with the matchup.
What I'm trying to say to Seth is you're giving me what I already know, and what WWE's trying to tell me is a story. But what I'm saying is that honestly, I feel if people started saying the truth of all of this, it would be even more interesting.
You think if he just said, "Yeah, I want to be on WrestleMania"?
No. Not Seth saying it. The Rock saying it to Seth.
Okay. Yeah,
that would make it more interesting. Seth saying to The Rock, the only reason you're here is because they dumped you in Hollywood. That would make things more interesting.
It's true. I get you. Take off the gloves, you're saying. Take off the gloves. Slap each other again.
Slap each other verbally. You've done the real slaps. I want to hear I want to see the verbal slaps. Because we playing child's play right now. Like, we need to get the truth out. I think that's when it will really get good in the WrestleMania. And we got a super chat donation here from Big Hero Chris. Thank you so much, Chris. He says The Rock and Roman's entrance at WrestleMania will be longer than an AEW pay-per-view. I mean, Krssi was just talking about that.
I'm just saying, like that. Man, oh man.
And we got another
long 2 days, and it's gonna be a long 2 days, friends.
You're gonna be there live. You get to give us the live perspective. Will Chisholm with a super chat donation. He says Roman better watch out. Social media almost got him for calling Seth a crossdresser.
What does that even mean in 2024? I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the fashion nowadays, you get male models cross-dressing. That's the thing. It was like it sounded so passe. He sounded almost like a boomer. Is this a boomer talking? I think that's why I said that I was offended for him, because I was like, bro, you can come on much better material. Get Brian Gewirtz to spice up for you. Get Paul Heyman to do better than that. Come on, Paul. That boomer energy of coming like a cross-dresser. He's a cross-dresser. You can do better than that, guys.
Holy shit, he did sound like, what the fuck?
Oh, you did. That's what I like. He sounded like, hey.
What the fuck?
But it sounded like a line that Rock would have said. That's why it was surprising that it was Roman that said it.
I know, and we're already doing this to Rock. Come on, Rocky, man. Like, come on, it's not 2000 anymore. We don't do that anymore. You should know. You're in Hollywood. You go to the parties. You know how they dress. Like, you know what they do.
Hey,
come on.
I'm sorry. I popped for him saying crack and meth. But
I love that. No. He didn't say crack and meth. He went crack and meth.
You meth head Marys, you crackhead Karens.
Taking your crack.
On Wednesday, WWE announced the latest inductees into the WWE Hall of Fame, which was Mike Rotunda and Barry Windham. The team will be joining the class of 2024 alongside Paul Heyman and Bull Nakano, who was announced earlier this week as well. During Tuesday's Wrestling Observer Radio, both Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez mentioned former WWE star Haku as a name rumored for this year's WWE Hall of Fame class. Of course, he wrestled in WCW as Meng, as well as in WWE, where he was a former WWE Tag Team Champion with Andre the Giant and former Slammy Award winner as part of the Heenan family with manager Bobby Heenan. His sons Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa and Hikuleo are all wrestlers in New Japan Pro Wrestling, although Tama Tonga has left the promotion. And speaking of The Rock, he has a strong connection to Haku. He views him as his uncle, and he has a strong connection to this year's Hall of Fame. According to the Wrestling Observer, according to Fightful Select, The Rock has a lot of input into this year's class into the Hall of Fame. He is a part of the TK Board of Directors, and he's going to be competing at WrestleMania as well. The report notes that Rock is having input that will be evident if the planned inductees are revealed as scheduled to be. There's no additional information on what that means, though. Another source said that The Rock had input on all of this year's inductees, although that's not yet to be confirmed as well. The report also notes that The Rock's grandmother, Leia Maivia, has also been discussed for this year's Hall of Fame. So if you got Haku and Leia Maivia, yeah, it shows that The Rock is involved here. In other Rock,
the same thing, just bring your whole family into the whole inductee. Great.
He needs to spread it out a bit.
In other Rock news, WWE is reportedly eyeing a date in May for their next Saudi Arabia pay-per-view. PW Insider reports that the company is targeting a date in late May. And then the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that the date of the Saudi Arabia event will likely be May 25th, the day before AEW Double or Nothing. And it was noted that when WWE attempted to move The Rock versus Roman Reigns to a later date so Cody Rhodes could main event WrestleMania, this is the date they had in mind. WWE still wants The Rock to work the event, but there are said to be a lot of variables in play before that is confirmed. WWE is of the belief that WrestleMania will not be The Rock's only match in 2024, and they want him to work at least one Saudi Arabia event. Would you be let down if WWE decided to do Rock versus Roman at Saudi Arabia in May?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, I would too.
The petty part of me would laugh. Because the discussion
I will laugh too.
Alex and I laugh. Yeah, the discussion me and Alex
I would laugh because it would just basically be like, yo, fuck Australia. We taking it to Saudi.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. That's what it's basically saying.
You're getting the Saudi money, so I mean I ain't mad about that part, but to put it in Saudi, like even in general, I mean it's would I put it there because the fans at Saudi, you know what it is, they're not like us. Whatever they get on that card, they're gonna be happy with. You know, like that's just how I view like that fan base. Like whatever they get, they're gonna be happy with because it's a live event. They're having fun. I just wouldn't put a match like that there just because of that aspect. I think should be meaningful, should be something, right? That wouldn't be the spot, but money wise, I get it. I get why they would do it. I just, especially a month after Mania, I don't know. It's a little. I wouldn't do it.
I love it for the chaos.
You like it for the chaos?
I mean that for that aspect, like that would be great because then I'll troll the fuck out of a lot of people. But that's about it.
It's also The Rock's birthday month as well. He turns 50 whatever in the 2nd of May. So
that
birthday
40,
month.
That man is way over 50. That man is a dinosaur in 20 years.
Wait. Listen. He how old is he right now? He is 51.
51. He's 51.
He's going to turn 52 in May.
Yeah, 52.
He still got some youth in him, guys.
Which I knew. Him and Big Show were like one of the youngest people on the main roster. That's what I remember.
Yeah, he was 26.
I think his youth dried up with his endurance in the ring. So we'll see.
Jesus.
What?
Listen, baby over here.
Listen, yeah. When Dwayne Johnson was playing the part of The Rock, I was with you, but I got my rock back. All I can say
got my rock. I got my old rock back.
Exactly.
I got them heroin track.
I got two things. Cody finishing the story and the old Rock. I'm happy right now. Also, it seems like he's kind of slimming down a bit, trying to get in ring shape. So, you know, I'm getting my cake.
He's licking his fingers
right
now.
I'm getting my cake and I'm eating it. What?
One final note before we get to Raw this week. The Fox Network is bringing NCAA college football to Friday nights on the network later this fall, which could mean WWE Smackdown being forced to move off its current time slot in September. Fox Sports announced on this week that NCAA matchups from the Big 10, Big 12, and Mountain West will be airing on Friday nights on the main Fox Network starting this fall. The announcement also notes that there will be a dedicated primetime window to these games on Friday nights. Friday Night SmackDown currently occupies the Friday night spot from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on the network. According to the Associated Press, these games are expected to fill the void left by SmackDown when the show leaves Fox in October and heads to the USA Network after the conclusion of WWE's current broadcast deal with Fox. Additionally, the report notes that some of the college football games might still air in September on the Fox network, meaning SmackDown would be temporarily moved to FS1. SmackDown has previously aired on FS1 in the past for MLB playoffs and World Series, but it is currently scheduled to make the move to the USA Network in October of this year. So that is all for SmackDown. Going over to Monday Night Raw, the show did 1.649 million viewers this week, and it featured that awful Seth Rollins insult where he called The Rock Diarrhea Dwayne
And he thought that was gonna land, and then the stupid people gonna go start saying it, dummies. Ugh.
They gave it the proper response initially, where they gave him silence, and then they started cheering diarrhea like the fucking parrots that they are. They responded to The Rock's WrestleMania 40 challenge before stating that they would that Seth would stick with Cody against the Bloodline in the tag team matchup. Gunther beat Dominic Mysterio in a good opener where he pelted the Judgment Day member. Meanwhile, Sami Zayn beat Ivar in a solid bout. Adam Pearce announced that Zayn, Chad Gable, and Ricochet, as well as Shinsuke Nakamura, Bronson Reed, and JD McDonough will compete in a gauntlet match on next week's show to determine who faces Gunther for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 40. Nia Jax beat Becky Lynch via disqualification after Liv Morgan got involved in their matchup, but Nia stood tall, taking out both women in the end. Drew McIntyre picked up a win in the main event, a rock-solid main event against Jey Uso. After the matchup, Jimmy Uso, who distracted Jey for the finish, went to attack him when Seth Rollins came out to make the save, only for Drew McIntyre to nail Rollins with the Claymore to stand tall in the end. So, good episode of Monday Night Raw this week, other than Seth Rollins with that awful promo. You say it's sad. Are you going to defend the Diarrhea Dwayne promo?
Heck no.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure.
No, I ain't defend it. I get what he was trying to do, but it's still because Diarrhea Dwayne. Crickets. You know what I'm saying? I think what it is as well is like SmackDown had such a great, that anticipation. Acknowledge me. I acknowledge you as Tribal Chief. And then you go to Monday Raw, Diarrhea Dwayne. Like, what the fuck is this shit?
What did we tune into?
I think that's what it was. I think it's the delivery of it. If he did it in a Rock manner, the Seth says, if he had hammed it up a bit, it seemed like this is a great line, guys. I'm gonna save it. I can't wait to do it. Diarrhea Dwayne.
He's like, it was like, you guys are gonna love this. You guys are gonna love this. Diarrhea Dwayne.
It is Diarrhea Dwayne.
You get it? He's full of shit. You get it?
Boo.
Get it?
Get Becky to write your material. Boo, you suck.
We can't even say that.
Like, I wonder if Cody. I wonder. My thing is like, I wonder before they went out there. I wonder if Cody told him that was a bad idea, or Cody responded to him as in like, "Oh yeah, that's a great line." Yeah,
I want to see Becky's reaction. I want to see Becky's reaction when he ran about her. I'm gonna say, Diarrhea Dwayne. What the fuck?
It's like when
she annoying her. She probably did the George Lopez gif. The one that he's like this. She probably did that.
It's probably Krssi Luv. If she ever seen her husband trip, it's probably the same face that Becky made. Like, you all right?
You all right? Did the baby toe survive? Like, what happened? Yeah.
Ooh, I know that had to hurt. Oh, damn.
Did you die?
You get him. You get him back. You get him back. You get him next time. You get him on Friday. Don't worry. She probably called their insurance agent. Like, does he have insurance on his life? Because he's going to Dallas and he's going to do a promo with The Rock. And then he turned out fine. So that's all well. That ends well. With the news coming out of Raw this week, quick notes: WWE picked up their first spirit sponsor, as they'll be sponsored by Wheatley Vodka. Coming up for WrestleMania 40. Sports Business Journal reported this. And apparently, Cody Rhodes was a big part of this sponsorship. He was said to be a big part of the deal happening, according to Wrestling Observer newsletter. They know that the brand will be personally sponsoring him and at least sponsoring a 6-part streaming series WWE is making about the American Nightmare. Part of the deal will be Wheatley brand tour bus that will be in the series as well. So Wheatley will be sponsored on the American Nightmare bus. And then also WWE acknowledged Sting's retirement on Monday's show. Sting's retirement was referenced by Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. McAfee calling Sting's matchup epic before Michael Cole quickly moved along so he wouldn't compliment it anymore. Good stuff. But I'm happy that they mentioned it. That is proof that this is a different company ran by someone else,
they have
not named Vince McMahon.
Will these samples be available for the adults to have this?
What, the Wheatley vodka? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna have it for sale at WrestleMania, not sample.
What happens?
That's a
Wheatley
business.
vodka.
You might have little
Terramana's
people
right
that have
there.
like little things like they sell. If you've gone to any like libaceous store, they sell, or they're trying to promote a new drink. They have someone there to tell you what it's about, and then they'll have like little things, and you can taste it.
They ain't got time
No?
for that. This is WWE, yo.
Okay,
This is
fine.
WWE. It's WWE.
All
What
right.
does it do? It's
All
not.
right.
It's not for the kids. No, it's the Wheatley vodka. It's not going to be for kids. Well, I don't know why. Cody Rhodes was going to push it, but Cody Rhodes is into liquor, and he had his own wine, so makes sense.
Interesting.
WWE or NXT Roadblock was this past Tuesday. The show did 654,000 viewers. The show featured Tony D'Angelo defeating Carmelo Hayes to become the number one contender to face Ilya Dragunov for the NXT Championship at NXT Stand and Deliver. Post-match, Trick Williams made his return for the first time since Vengeance Day to get a measure of revenge on Melo. The Wolf Dogs beat Chase U in a pretty good matchup to retain the NXT Tag Team Championships, while Kabuki Warriors retained the WWE Women's Tag Team titles against Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley. After the matchup, though, it was Roxanne Perez who brutally attacked the champion, officially turning heel, breaking her arm in the process. And Dijak picked up the win over Joe Gacy in the Asylum matchup. Really good matchup, probably the best one on the show this past Tuesday. You're happy Dijak got the win?
Listen,
I'm mad he didn't.
How he's 6'7", can do all the stuff, can go ham in the ring, and you flipping goof him. All the big matches he was losing. I'm like, Eddie Thorpe, you're gonna lose to that dweeb from LA Dojo? I get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's fucking Dijak. He should be 2-time world champion by now. Dijak, like this iteration of the character of his personality, they finally nailed it. Okay, they finally nailed the character. Just get him on the main roster after Mania. Don't give him the NXT title run because he's been in NXT before. This is like a refresher's course. He's refreshed enough. Get him on the main roster. Joe Gacy, you continue to suck in this character. Gene Ambrose 2.5. Go back to being the social injustice warrior. Because at least in
Gene Ambrose, that killed me on the inside.
Exactly. That's where he is. Next, he's gonna have a cactus. He's gonna have a talk show with all this in the background. I bet Vince is happy. There's some good shit. Don't forget a mask. Put a mask back on. I'm gonna shut on your head if you don't put a mask back on. What are we doing with him? Listen, we've had Mick Foley, we've had Gene Ambrose. We don't need it. Listen, I know he's a crazy guy in CZW. For me, it's a regression. I don't need you to be what you were before. That's like Swerve Strickland going back to his indie character. You need to evolve. That's why I like the SJW character. At least he had legs. You say what you were about Shawn Michaels giving everyone wacky characters. At least his one made sense. Yeah, it went on the Bray Wyatt territory. Me and Sid, I don't want to mansplain it because me and Sid, we covered this together. We watched the original run. When they gave him druids, that's when they ruined the character. Just go back to what the original character was like. This is not working for me. I'm crazy. I'm kooky. You can harm me. I don't give a shit. I'm sorry, I just don't. Because everyone from that class of 2.0 are graduating. Even D'Angelo, who was in the back of the class with him, is like, fuck this motherfucker. I'm going to the front. Now he's the only one in the back.
He got great. He went up to the front of the class.
Yeah, he went. Yeah, because I think he must have heard us. He goes, because I think I don't know who I was talking to. I think it must have been Sid. I said the class of 2.0. You know, the War Games team, they're all graduating, they're all finding the place. But D'Angelo's somehow he got stuck. He must have heard me because he's like, fuck this shit. I'm going to the front. And then
he won a title, though. He won a title, though. He won the NXT.
I do. But it's one of those cases where when that dweeb they chucked in the river, which I was happy about, they should have replaced with another guy. It should have been him as North American champion, and then Stacks get a new partner, which they find, I think, Luca Crucifino, because he's got an Italian surname. They're like, you could be Consigliere, when I didn't do a background check on you. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, okay. Any Italian you can find, cool. Go with it. I'm not mad at it. But yeah, Dijak, he should go straight to the main roster. He should be kicking people in the face. He should be doing moonsaults. He should be hurting people. Joe Gacy, that's not it. Wrong.
I can answer this. Jerry Williams says, "Why are they keeping those belts on Braun and Corbin if Braun is going to get pushed on SmackDown? That's mind-boggling. Braun's not getting pushed on SmackDown until after WrestleMania. This is a run until Stand and Deliver, and they are the most over tag team in NXT. That is why they have those belts, and that's why they're keeping them to at least Stand and Deliver." We got a super chat donation here from Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will, as always, with the big support. He says, "So was that the drink Cody and Jay Uso were drunk off at that media scrum? LOL." Possibly. Maybe that's what they already were gifting them. That's when they were in the negotiation process. They would send them some free stuff for Fastlane. They got drunk off of it, and now we got the deal. There you go. Yeet. Unfortunate some news this week. We talked about last week the outpouring of support for Maxine Dupree, and we got another bit of outpouring of support for a superstar this week after WWE 2K Games recently shared a post on Instagram showing Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair promoting WWE 2K24. This led to someone in the comments leaving a racist remark, which will not be repeated here. It did, however, cause a number of Belair's WWE co-workers and others to hit social media to give her support. Basically, the fan, or quote unquote fan, basically made a remark that Bianca Belair was only there because she was black.
Wow.
Rhea Ripley and Cody Rhodes are worthy of being on the 2K cover, but Bianca Belair was not. Rhea Ripley wrote, "EST isn't just a nickname. At Bianca Belair, WWE is a history maker, a trailblazer, and one of the nicest humans that you would have the privilege to ever meet. Y'all just mad that she's better than you." Big E added a great tweet where he said, "The black women in this industry face a regular barrage of racism and misogyny from quote unquote fans, and have for far too long. You cannot diminish their light. You cannot erase their contributions to this industry. Zelina Vega, Michin, Katana Chance, Ivy Now, Joe Gacy, Faye Jackson, and others all came out in support of Bianca Belair publicly following the backlash. It was a stupid comment by a stupid individual, and I'm glad that Bianca Belair received all the support because who is worthy more than Bianca Belair of being on the cover of WWE 2K? It has nothing to do with her skin color. It has to do with the fucking work that she's been putting out on WWE TV for the past 3-4 years.
Yep.
All right. Let's talk about it. There is a group. Liv Morgan, is cultivating the most weirdest fan base, because I feel like that fan would be like, put Liv Morgan in it instead. I love Liv. It's not her fault. She can't vet her fan base. We as human can't vet people as much as we want to. There's a weird fan base that goes against, successful people, especially Bianca Belair. Forget the content of her skin color. If you look at her resume, her body of work, what she's done, the things that she continues to achieve, that's a Hall of Fame career. She could retire tomorrow saying, "I'm having Montez's baby and I'm taking time off for the next 5 years." You'd be like, yo, that's Hall of Fame career there. You know what I'm saying? In one run in a few years. So they made Rhea Ripley break kayfabe to tell them they ain't shit. So that goes to show you how much she's revered, and I appreciate that.
Twice in 2 weeks, Rhea Ripley had to break kayfabe on social media.
It is twice. Yeah, that's true. You're right.
And I'll be honest, it was only worthy of one time. Anyway,
you know what?
I'm just saying.
Well, buddy, but you mean to
stick up for someone who's getting racial remarks in comparison to sticking up for someone getting booed?
Oh, that.
How we do it?
And why is she wrestling, man? Like, why is she not in NXT wrestling? Like, I liked her as a character. I like Maxine Dupree. I like the fact that, she's got a modeling agency. I like the fact she ditched a modeling agency to be part of this academy and help the guy that she likes, Otis. I like that, variation of the character. And I like her old couple relationship with Ivy Nile. She's learning. It's their fault for, putting her in front of everyone. David flaring her.
Exactly. That's my only point. But let's finish off what we missed this past week with TNA. TNA Sacrifice was last night. The show featured Moose retaining the TNA Heavyweight Championship against Eric Young in the main event. Meanwhile, Nick Nemeth, the Wanted Man, beat Steve Macklin to retain the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. The Systems, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers defeated ABC to win the TNA World Tag Team titles. And then you had also TNA Impact on Thursday. The show featured Josh Alexander beating Dirty Dango in the main event. Meanwhile, Mustafa Ali defeated Kevin Knight in a very fun matchup. Post-match, Ali and the Cool Hands injured Kevin Knight ahead of Sacrifice, where Mustafa Ali and GYV defeated Time Machine in a 6-man tag team matchup. This led to the post-match attack on Kevin Knight on Impact, led to Alex Shelley making his return, and that led to the Spine Splitters picking up a win over the Cool Hands in tag team action. And we talked about last week, Josh Alexander's contract basically getting renewed under his nose by TNA. And now we got Steve Macklin, who confirms a report that his current contract with TNA is expected to expire in May. He says, I know my deal's up in May with TNA. I would love to stay. I've let management know that I've been enjoying my time here and loving my time here. But it's one of those things where if it's gonna come down to a choice on what's going to be best for me and my family. So right now I am focused more or less on just this Friday in Windsor. I'm taking it one match at a time, but I know that I have a lot to prove, as well as for them to come back at me with an offer to stay. So that's on me. He said this in an interview with WrestleZone's Bill Pritchard. So do you think Steve Macklin's going to stay? Because, I mean, his wife just signed somewhere. Just saying.
You know, it would be great, though. It would be great if Steve Macklin got the husband package. We're going to ship him off to Rampage next to Johnny TV. They can start a new QTV because Q's backstage. So Macklin could be his avatar. Forgotten Sons QTV 2.5. Let's go for that. Can we talk about Eddie Edwards? It boggles my mind. Sid, you're the perfect person to speak about this. You are the most, you're the most qualified. I'm so happy I get to ask you this question because you're an RH young boy. What the fuck happened to Eddie Edwards? What the fuck? No, I have to use the F word. I don't use the word enough on your show. What? When I see him, I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Tommy Dreamer 2.5. What the fuck? He went from being GHC world champion, ROH world champion, technical miracle, lyrical, you know, he's the next technical guy. He's the next guy to being a fat motherfucker wearing a t-shirt and tights and his hair. He's having a midlife crisis. You know what I'm saying? Like, that fall from grace needs to be in a video essay. Because when you see the guy from like 15 years ago to now, I would never guess the trajectory would be this guy, Tommy Dreamer's lover boy.
You want to know what happened?
Yeah, please, for real.
Sammy Callahan in a bat. Everything that's happened to Eddie Edwards and him kind of getting bigger, thicker, changing his look, getting the beard, wearing the Tommy Dreamer attire. It all dates back to 2018 when Sammy Callahan hit him in the face with a bat. That changed his whole career. The whole trajectory of his career was changed in that one moment.
It wasn't him being gifted the thing from Tommy in the first place, because
that's the moment that led to that.
Okay, but yeah, it's a shame. So you're telling it's medication he's taking, like brain pills?
I ain't say all that. I'm
sorry. You got relations. Sorry, you know I'm sorry. He's got relations with TNA. I'm sorry.
We gotta end this before he stops us having TNA interviews.
I am sorry.
Let's end things off.
Give us Scott D'Amore back. And Moose looks like he's got a lisp. He looks like a guy.
With Miss Krssi Luv's favorite part of the show, our matches of the week, and what a week for us to give our matches of the week. So you know what time it is, Krssi Luv. I have 10 matches to give you.
I know it. I know.
So number 10 for me this week for matches of the week, I go TNA Sacrifice. Josh Alexander versus Alexander Hammerstone. That was a great matchup on the show yesterday. Their second match, their rematch from Hard to Kill. Hammerstone beating Josh Alexander was a big moment for him as he just signed with TNA as well. Number 9 for me, Riho beating Chris Statlander on AEW Dynamite. Number 8, Christian Cage versus Daniel Garcia from Revolution. Number 7, Orange Cassidy versus Roger Strong from Revolution. Number 6, Blackpool Combat Club versus FTR from Revolution. Number 5, Joe Swerve Hangman from Revolution. Number 4, Ospreay versus Fletcher from Dynamite. Number 3, Kingston versus Bryan from Revolution. Number 2, Sting and Darby versus Young Bucks from Revolution. And of course, number 1, Ospreay Takeshita, obviously. Josh.
You do 10 now?
No, you could give 3 or 5. I just saw a lot of wrestling this week.
I feel like each time I come back, Sid, you just up the amount. You just flexing your ability to watch wrestling.
I saw a lot of wrestling.
He does that often, but it's okay.
He goes, Ian, he's like, you fuck your excuse for being parents. I'm a parent and I still watch wrestling.
I watch wrestling with my kids. They don't know what's going on. Josh or Krssi, whoever wants to go next. 5 or 3, whatever. How many you got?
The struggle is real.
I go 3. Number 3. Yeah, number 3, I go with FTR versus Blackpool Combat Club Revolution. Number 2, that main event, Sting, Darby versus the Bucks. And number 1, easily Ospreay versus Takeshita and that 6-star classic. I still give it 6 stars.
There we go. Krssi Luv.
I'm gonna try to do 10. Okay.
You got this.
You got this.
I think I do. Okay. 10 is going to be the Asylum match from NXT.
Okay.
Number 9 is going to be Deanna and Tony.
Okay. From Revolution.
Number 8 is going to be Statlander and Riho from Dynamite. Wait, I'm at 7. Okay, 7. 7 is going to be fuck. Damn it.
You were going very well.
I got. Hold on, I got it. It's this. Hold on, I got it. Thank you. I believe in me too. Thank you.
Nia Jax versus Becky.
No, absolutely not.
That was a really good match, though.
That's what I'm saying. Nia's good now.
Okay, fine.
She's slimmed down.
Yeah, 7. Let's do that. 7. 6 is going to be FTR and Blackpool Combat. Number 5 is going to be Eddie Kingston and Bryan.
And Danielson. You're almost there. You're almost home. Come on.
I'm at what, 4, right?
4. Yep.
4. 4 is going to be Fletcher and Ospreay. Dynamite.
Yep.
Number 3 is going to be Hangman, Swerve,
Samoa Joe.
2 is going to be Sting's final match. And number 1, Will Ospreay and Takeshita. Thank you.
Well done.
I'm here from Thank you.
Well done by Miss Krssi Luv. Set. Finish us off with your matches of the week.
3 is not enough. All I need is 5. I'll give you guys 5. He gave you 3. You said a 10. You did a 10. I'm gonna give you 5. Number 5. Nia Jax is doing really good, guys. I've been a
No, she really is though. Being away from this, I think, made her better.
And also, she's fit as well. She
is very
She is yummy. I've always thought that. Exactly. She is like King Arthur's sword. You used to bury it all in that goodies. Okay. Number 4, we have Riho versus Chris Statlander. Number 3, we have.
Wait, that
Bryan
was 4?
Daniels.
Riho and Statlander.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. You don't have to apologize. It's a show. We got this. Number 3, I'm going to go Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson. They brought the A game. Number 2, congratulations for Kyle Fletcher, your first solo 5-star match against Will Ospreay. And number 1, Takeshita is special. What are we doing? Listen, we talk about Will Ospreay enough because we know he's great. I mean, come on.
No, Takeshita, no. Takeshita is a diamond. Is a gem.
Listen,
don't mess up that gem.
You know the saddest thing is, you can do Kenosuke Takeshita versus Samoa Joe for the title and let him win, and I wouldn't cry at it. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't mind at all.
we are in the stage of AEW where that kind of risks would actually pay off.
Right.
If that makes sense. Of all the times, because Tony had his vision of like, this is the order of the wrestlers. I want it to be champion. Now everything's up for grabs. Takeshita, you can just push him right now because he's beating Kenny Omega. You can't say, well, he can't win. He's beaten 2 AEW World Champions. Just give him the title for like a month. I know, we haven't had a transitional champion yet. Let him make a record.
I mean, I just love the fact that, like, that's what I said. I'm excited for AEW right now because Swerve could beat Samoa Joe, and I wouldn't say anything. Hangman could beat Samoa Joe, and I wouldn't say anything. Well, Ospreay could come in tomorrow and beat Samoa Joe, and no one would brush an eye. Konosuke Takeshita, Darby Allin feels like he's more ready than ever to be an AEW World Champion. MJF is still getting healthy in the wing. He could come back and be an AEW World Champion. Once Adam Cole is healthy, he could be ready to be an AEW World Champion. They have about 10 different guys that could be the AEW World Champion right now, and that's why I said WWE, in my eyes, has a deeper roster from 1 to 250, but AEW has a better 1 through 20. Their top half is better than WWE's top.
Yeah.
Give me Ivar versus Dijak and I'll do something. Anyway, honorable mentions to Sting. I was gonna say something, I forgot where I was at. Sting and Darby Allin versus the Bucks or the EVPs. That's an honorable mention. That was a great match. I should have put that in a list somewhere, but that elicited emotion in my heart. That's like another chapter in my childhood closing, but in a good way. Usually is them dying, but it's great seeing that someone is leaving on his own volition, because 2016 was a terrible year. He lost to Triple H when he shouldn't have.
He shouldn't have.
He shouldn't have. No, but God works in mysterious ways. His career lasted longer than the guy that beat him at WrestleMania. So
that's true. Wow.
All's well that ends well, and longer than Taker's as well.
Exactly. And he had the better Metallica song.
But that brings us to a close on another edition of our flagship. That, as you finish laughing at that, throwing shots.
That was a good line. That was a good line. He said.
Let the people know where they can follow you on social media and when they can see you on WrestleTalk again.
At sat next to you, I'll tell you that Sting had a better retirement match than Undertaker, and he had a better Metallica song as well. And his kids got to be involved. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. He had a great send-off, so I'm happy. Showtime, Sat E. Follow me. Sat next to. We can chat about it. Maybe. Who knows? Sid monitors my account sometimes if I say some flagrant stuff. So yeah, join me. I'm there.
Yeah,
you didn't go on trial today. So
yeah,
okay.
you didn't. We didn't put you on trial for you joining into the WWE versus AEW.
I didn't know. I didn't know. I was just stating that. Oh, it's a shame that that's what people are talking about. I think that's why I was annoyed about that. I was like, they had a great show. Anyway, Point Gate. I'm not gonna talk about Point Gate. Like my tweet, it's deleted. Deletion. Delete. Yeah.
Miss Krssi Luv, let everybody know where they can follow you, sis, and when they will see you again.
She's got her background on and everything. Oh yeah, do you wave? Yeah, pick yourself up.
Hey guys, so you can join me every Friday on Know Your Role. We do the SmackDown review. I was not there yesterday. But yes, I will be back this Friday with my tag partner, Stephanie. We've been not together, but the show must go on. So we will be back together. I think Server Face the Hills will be back tomorrow. I have to ask my friend because she'd be busy like me. Other than that, you can find me on Tru Heel Heat every Saturday, 11:05 a.m. where we do our weekly recap of everything from the whole week. That is like you'll be here. We'll be here for about 4 hours just talking about everything. Other than that, on IG is Krssi Luv _1, Tru Heel Krssi Luv on that's Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, or it's just my plain name. Thank you, love you guys, peace.
It was only 3 hours this week because we had Sat and we had to cry about Sting. So, all right. Josh, let the people know where they can follow you, sir.
You can follow me, JamPunk321, Twitter and Instagram. And Wednesday we'll be on for Elite Heat for Big Business. Look forward to that.
Absolutely. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at Tru Heel SP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Tru Heel Heat. Patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content, the Tru Heel Heat Prediction Championship, and more. Go over the Tru Heel Heat Sports and Entertainment channel. We got a watch along tonight for the UFC event, so go over there and support us as well. But thank you so much to Sat, as always. He is our favorite recurring guest that we have on the show. He'll be back with us
next month.
Yes, in April. Maybe we can have him before Dynasty, where his favorite wrestler will face my favorite wrestler, Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay.
Wait. That's wrong. I love both wrestlers. It just is awkward.
But your favorite is your best friend. It should be. That's what it should be. If my best friend was wrestling, if Krssi Luv was a wrestler, she would be my favorite wrestler. That's how it works.
Well, first of all, he has thousands of best friends.
No, we can't.
As for my old friend,
someone clip this and send it to Will. He is denying that Will is his favorite wrestler.
He is my favorite wrestler.
All right. Why you trying to correct me?
But I love Bryan Danielson too. It's hard. The thing is, okay. When I watch the match, who am I rooting for in the match? I'm rooting for
the winner.
Will, of course. Yeah, Will.
Exactly.
Will.
Stop it. Follow and check out all the great content we got on the channel right now, like our New Japan Cup preview, as well as AE Ramble with me and Jimmy Macaram reviewing this week's Dynamite with Okada joining the Elite. For Sat Niangi, he'll be back next month. Krssi Luv, Tru Draw Josh will be back with me next week. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. This has been Tru Heel Heat 267, from stung to slapped. We are signing off until